takes a few minutes for your wow, Doc, wow. No, I mean when it's already processed. Oh wow, underdoctor. Holy shit.
Levioso. Defender. Confringo. Depulso.
That was a huge fucking spider. Holy, oh my.
It looks as if Tobbs was here some time ago. He must have headed deeper into the cave.
Confringo.
The Confringo sounds like saying,
Thanks, Midwest.
come bingo.
Play some poker. Get some sleep, man. If you're not getting it. Hey, last responder, India auditor. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Appreciate you guys. Shit's loud. Get a cold one in, man. That'll get you fired up and woke up. I know what my answer to that would be, though. Fuck a cold shower.
Wish.
I send this noise. True.
Sorcerer's hat. Send feedback to YouTube. Wait, yeah, you'll never hear back. Unfortunately, like none of us ever hear back.
Thanks for popping in, Midwest, or last responder and Midwest and Indiana. I'm gonna set up a. None of you guys play poker though. Let's see if anyone else pops in that plays. I got started a little late. I got out of the office a little late tonight.
Here from the quartering, and the woke Disney defenders have entered the chat after, well, apparently, I'm not sure what this guy was thinking. Honestly, the star of the Aladdin remake dropped some truth bombs about nobody really caring about the Little Mermaid remake. Now, I could be wrong. One of the things that I've been consistently wrong on is people's appetites for live action remakes. I remember when I saw like the Lion King live action remake, I was like, who in the heck is going to watch this? It made like $1 billion.
Thanks, Indiana.
Live action remake. Again, who's going to watch this? I think I'd rather watch the Will Smith one. Didn't Will Smith make an Aladdin one? I don't remember. It's not, what? Nobody who wants this made $1 billion. Well, apparently, like in an unprovoked comment, the actor from The Little Mermaid, or I'm sorry, from Aladdin, absolutely roasted. You'll see, it's all in response to basically earnings, right? There's this tweet. The Little Mermaid is tracking to earn $115 million on its domestic box office opening weekend. In comparison, Aladdin earned 112 million on its opening. To be honest with you, the amount of years that are different,
That shooter.
inflation, I would consider this
That's my shooter right there, dude. After a 12-hour day.
makes that compared to Aladdin, it should be considered a major.
That shooter.
They're saying Aladdin went on to be $1 billion.
And that shooter.
I'm gonna love watching this movie tank. Disney needs to stop these remakes already and try to come up with some original content. I'm not sure if it's gonna tank or not, but it doesn't look like a good movie. I do agree that Disney remakes are getting out of hand. I think that there's, you're gonna have, I don't know, because a lot of the initial
Yeah, you'll have that.
was, of course,
Good thing you're not working in Chicago or Detroit.
the movie just doesn't look very good in general. It's hard to kind of predict.
I'm glad for you, actually.
Disney movies are going to do these days.
'Cause,
Sometimes they just do good in spite of themselves, especially if
I was one of the first responders in Detroit.
like no competition, right? Ariel the Mermaid just pounded the real-life Aladdin into submission, or more accurately, her fans did. This after the dude juxtaposed his flick with hers. Well, I mean, I don't think he was supposed to. I think he was responding to news reports, and it pissed a lot of people off. Menem Sood, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, who played everyone's favorite street rat in 2019 live-action adaptation, just scrubbed his entire Twitter account due to a mountain of backlash he received Saturday for chiming in on the future box office prospects of Halle Bailey's new Little Mermaid movie. He was responding to an account. So again, he wasn't like firing he wasn't firing a shot unprompted. He was responding to somebody. He was responding to an account that was reporting on how much to make in its opening week.
You know what? I can just turn that shit off because in every aspect of my life, Midwest, you get that shit. So it's nothing. It is what it is. That's between other people, not me. Let them deal with it. I'm not here to solve other people's issues. Thanks, Indiana. I appreciate it. Appreciate you popping in, man.
Our film was unique in that audience had to see it multiple times. The only way we reached $1 billion with our opening. My guess is The Little Mermaid doesn't cross the $1 billion mark, but we'll undoubtedly get a sequel. Based? Does anybody disagree with that? Then came the remark that got attacked. He followed with, my guess is it'll still get a sequel.
Only if you let it affect you, man.
With any clarification on he meant, but
only if you let it.
Got Halle's fans up in arms. You can hop.
If you just let it be their shit, let it be their shit.
Saying, but basically, the reaction wasn't good. Some felt Mena's comment here was a cheap shot and suggesting that Little Mermaid wasn't actually worthy of any future success, including a possible sequel. No, I don't think that's what he's saying at all. Others are also saying that Mena sounded a little salty over the fact that.
Personally, the only person that I have unmodded in my chat has been Ascendant. And she hasn't asked why, so I'm not going to tell her why, but I hope you know why. And that's nothing to do in my chat. I mean, she's always cordial in my chat. But no, don't let their shit be your shit, dude. Never.
He hadn't been cast in much post-Aladdin, and that he still hung up on other criticism.
And I don't mind anybody bringing anything into my chat. You know, if the discussion needs to be made, we'll make it.
As a result, Mena appeared to have
only if I feel like I want to participate in it, though.
Is gone, and his page is inaccessible now. So it seems any of the discourse may have gotten to him. Part of the reason for his fierce response to his parents' slight might have to do with the fact that The Little Mermaid has been in the crosshairs of haters since day one. The whole thing is absurd. I mean, look, the race swapping received rightful backlash. Ariel is, it's just, white people are the only people that are acceptable to be upgraded according to Hollywood.
Hey, no, I got respect
Bailey
for you
may
too,
have
man.
been
But
the best person for the tale, but this is, it's an
honestly, drama's content, so I don't give a fuck. As long as you're not doxing motherfuckers, being racist, or any of that bullshit, I don't give a fuck what you say in my chat. You didn't even talk shit on me. I don't give a fuck. I think the last person I blocked, Brandon. No, it's not too late, man. I haven't even set it up. What time do you want? You want me to set one up? You're the first one that's even from the poker group that's even jumped in.
Obvious, like it's just one of those more obvious kind of woke decisions. Like, oh, can't have another white princess. Can't have that. Can't have another white main character in Disney. We see this with Netflix, or whether it's Cleopatra or was it Anne Boleyn or Queen Elizabeth or something. In particular, any redhead for whatever reason gets
All right, I'm gonna set it
in
up.
Hollywood, and it's specifically replaced by African American actors and actresses. Should probably look into that. But anyway, people are coalescing around the movie and hoping that it does numbers because of the larger implications, namely more POC cast in iconic roles. Thank God. And a shift for Hollywood. What's wild about this is like, are you crazy? Like, POCs star nearly every major role, or not necessarily POCs, but I would say underrepresented actors and actresses. Every new show, like there are no new shows full of white people. That is not something that Hollywood does anymore. They're acting like this TMZ is acting like this is something that, you know, is still a current problem, but it isn't. You see comicbook.com running The Little Mermaid Aladdin star reacts to live action box office projection. I mean,
All
you
right,
see,
set up.
obviously, I just think
12:30.
like, what do you think? Disney
Yeah, he did a video on it earlier. That was some funny shit. It's not even. I don't even know if you could call that woke. It was just like straight feminist. It was funny, man. I mean, to be honest, I was cracking up watching it because it's full of bullshit. The monk started the beer, but anyway, I thought it was funny as fuck.
movies will oftentimes make $1 billion in spite of themselves.
But then we have this. I just put this in industry nerds.
Only girls can be the mommies. Only boys can be the daddies. Yes, sir. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine.
But nowadays, that's really not the same as it used to be, because you used to have.
All right, brother. Hey, we'll jump in on you.
Hits, but then you saw Lightyear.
Thanks for coming in.
Stunk. It tanked at the box office, but it sure had a girl-on-girl kiss, so that was cool. You know, I think The Little Mermaid is probably going to do well. Will it do $1 billion? I would honestly be very surprised if it did, but you never really know. You see Disney fans raging because Aladdin dropped a truth bomb on them. It is too bad he ran away, and he probably just completely destroyed his career. Like he's probably never. He's not getting cast again. Like he's gonna go back to. He's gonna have to go to like Bollywood or something. There's just no way. You look at the TMZ. A lot of the replies here. Who cares who Ariel is? It's for the audience and children to enjoy and culture.
You know, that's what's funny as hell. There's no unemployment problem. There's an employment problem in today's world. There's getting motherfuckers that want to work, period, for a decent wage. Impossible today. Everybody just wants money for nothing.
I mean, it isn't though for that, is it?
Dude, it's incredible. Dude, it's my job. You know, I run a staffing office, and you know, beyond one of my 3 jobs anyway.
It's so they can, you know, say, oh, look, another POC actor, actress, and all this kind of stuff. And you see here, like, from Sophia Narwitz, the actor from the live-action Aladdin speculated that The Little Mermaid wouldn't cross $1 billion, and even though he made no mention of race, nor did he express that he wants it to fail, he was dogpiled with accusations based around race. He has since deactivated his account. You know, of course, more racism. Dang, he should have apologized for his whole tweet instead of deleting his account. Like, they say play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Mina Massoud shouldn't pin against POC that lead Disney films. That's just wrong. He had nothing. He didn't say anything about POCs, did he? It's just that the way that a lot of people are programmed.
Yes, he must have
modern
missed
day,
it.
they're
Hey,
obsessed with
Fallen.
race.
Hey, unindoctrinated. Thanks for hopping in.
As a fellow Torontonian, this pettiness is beneath.
Want to play
me.
some
I've seen
poker?
how Hollywood machine is
We're gonna get a
treated
small
you
game going.
since.
Brandon's
You
gonna
should
play, aren't you,
hush.
bud?
As a black woman with natural red hair, I hope this movie is successful. What? What percentage of black women out there have natural red hair?
One game.
Legitimate question.
Some red bones,
I
got some red
I
hair.
don't understand. Man had an opinion and shared it.
High
I will
yellows.
learn 'em. I'm almost 100% positive Disney cast a black woman solely so people won't be able to criticize the film without being called racist.
And those aren't my words. Those are folks or words that I've heard from black folks.
Well, that is a very powerful form of armor, certainly in modern day. I mean, against POC, they consider him white now. Yeah, they must consider him white.
What you smoking, unindoctrinated? This is some Jenny Kush.
I mean, I don't really understand. They're trying to say, oh, he's anti-black because he replied, everyone knows the movie industry doesn't care for black people and even less for brown people. Exhibit Dev Patel, I don't know any of these. Mena Massoud, that's guy. Black artists have the highest representation for minorities in Hollywood, followed by Asians, Latin Americans, Native Americans, and in last place, North Africans. I don't know. I think people are just so obsessed. I think a lot of this is keyed up.
Hey,
by
Jesse
Disney
Jackson's in the
trying to build
game.
buzz so that people pay Disney $15 to totally own the racists. Don't get sucked into that. It's just as bad when the right does it too. Own the libs with my $9 chocolate bars. Don't do that. Spend your money on companies that care about earning your money and putting out a good product. Disney hasn't cared about that in a long time. So it'll be interesting to watch Shakedown. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. And we'll talk to you real soon.
I'm sorry, where are you at again? Unindoctrinated? Delta 8, is that Florida? North Carolina, okay.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You can
Jesse
really
needs
tell
to jump
how
in the
it's all
chat.
for narrative purpose. This supposedly
He's
legitimate
in the game.
decision, 9 members of a jury in a court case finding Donald Trump liable of battery and sexual assault of E. Jean Carroll. No evidence provided, but magically the jury just decided that Donald Trump was liable based off nothing but hearsay. But you could tell how it was all orchestrated, literally just to give the Democrats a talking point, and of course the media.
This was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
They're pushing this narrative that Donald Trump is guilty. It's official. It was made official by a jury of 9 New Yorkers. Therefore, how could women ever vote for this guy? He's a convicted predator. That's the bogus narrative. Now they're all pearl clutching on their nightly news shows, claiming how outrageous it is that Donald Trump was making fun of this, quote, victim. And the crowd was laughing. Journalism in 2023, a one-sided Democrat spin, simply just creating and promoting Democrat hit piece rhetoric. Of course, we know that if they were being fair, they'd be trying to get the other side. But no, that doesn't serve their interest. It doesn't serve the interest of their puppet masters. And so
I see that, bub. Hey, Jesse, sorry.
Serious questions to E. Jean
Oh, 12 Years a Slave? That was a good movie. It's a long movie, dude.
We have new information that's dropping and some old information that I want to get into. Let me show you guys what's
Who are you people?
Roll the tape. All right, folks, so it's the stuff that no leftoid journalist wants you to know.
Welcome,
about,
Chopper,
no
Squirrel,
journalist will
Jesse,
ever
everybody.
admit is real. Take a look at this from the conservative brief. Trump accuser E. Jean Carroll claimed that she was a, quote, massive fan of Trump-hosted show The Apprentice in 2012. Former President Donald Trump was found liable for sexual assault and defamation in order to pay author E.
I gotta go refill. I'll be right back.
But a curious
Make sure I get on
Facebook post
time
by
on
his
this.
accuser may assist in his appeal.
I'll be right back.
22nd, 2012, she posted on Facebook and said, "Too many good TV shows on Saturday night. My God, what do you watch?" Other than spelling two incorrectly, the post was not that interesting until you read the comments where she shares what show that she's a quote massive fan of. I'm a massive Apprentice fan, she writes. Donald Trump Jr. responded to this revelation writing, "This seems like a perfectly normal thing to say given the accusations, unless of course the accusations were totally fabricated and made up recently as a political hit job." And I'm certainly asking the exact same questions here. So we're supposed to believe that E. Jean Carroll was victimized by Donald Trump, a clearly traumatic experience, probably the only way that you could really accurately describe it. Yet after this experience with Donald Trump, her favorite TV show was Donald Trump's TV show The Apprentice. That seems to make no sense. We're also supposed to believe that she was a fan of Donald Trump all the way up until he ran for president, won the election against Hillary Clinton in 2016, then she lobbied in New York to remove the statute of limitations for cases of sexual misconduct targeting powerful men, a case brought on through Me Too activism. She helped to get that law passed, which, by the way, her attorney admitted.
Can I end on something that I think is really important in all of this? And it's the fact that New York passed this law, the Adult Survivors Act. They passed it just a few years ago. Were it not for that law, you never would have been able to bring this case. And I just think it speaks to the importance for a lot of other survivors.
Exactly. I would never have this window, this year of having the ability to bring a lawsuit for rape. Robbie can explain it better.
Well, E. Jean actually helped to get that law passed. It passed last year.
Wow.
It was Thanksgiving Day. It was the first day you came out and we filed the picture held just after midnight on Thanksgiving. And
E. Jean Carroll helped to get the law passed. And then wait again. After she lobbied to get that law passed, she still didn't come forward with the accusation. She didn't go to law enforcement either. What did she do? She wrote a book. She probably sold hundreds of thousands of copies. Who knows? Maybe millions. I have no idea. Maybe I could Google it if it's public information, but whatever. She made a bunch of money from selling a book with her tell-all story of how Donald Trump did the unspeakable to her. I believe that was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
She doesn't know, though.
Donors and the Resistance crew, hiring George
Not even sure of the year.
and filing her lawsuit to go after Donald Trump. She went from Donald Trump's biggest fan, a massive Apprentice fan, to what led up to the lawsuit in 2019 and her legal victory in 2023. Something doesn't smell right. You know, the whole thing, it seems utterly preposterous and almost impossible to believe. Donald Trump vigorously defends himself, like during the town hall, for instance. It's convincing.
I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely
Oh, yes.
for a couple of charities.
I'm about to be a little bit more. I just only hit this like twice. Now I hit some more. Jenny Cush.
22, 23 years ago. I met her in the front door of Bergdorf Goodman. I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a room right near the cash register. And then she found out there were lights in the door. She said, I found one that was open. She found one. She went this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets him, brings him up, and within minutes, you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President, can I?
It's a he said, she said situation, despite the decision of the actual jury, but there seems to be less red flags on Trump's side than the other. Yet the media wants you to believe that the legal decision means that Donald Trump is guilty, found guilty. There's no evidence to suggest that, not to mention the main claim from E. Jean Carroll, the RAPE claim. The jury found there was no evidence to support it. If there's no evidence for the main
Then why is
claim,
there...
then how could the other accusations possibly
Exactly.
be credible? Smells fishy. And here's another
Dude,
one
if
that
you
really
saw the
does
transcripts from this judge was fucking off the hook.
Back in 2019, apparently, Trump
Obviously
story,
slanted.
Carroll's story is, quote, stunningly similar to the plot of a Law and Order SVU episode, critics say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even the location itself. The quality of this clip of the Law and Order episode is quite poor, but you'll still basically get...
Listen to the Law and Order episode is the same situation.
Yes, there was one, a bit plain, and it was not her fantasy, it was mine. Okay, yeah. Role play took place in the dressing room of Bergdorf's. While she was trying on lingerie, I would burst in. Oh.
In the dressing room of the Bergdorf Goodman department store. When E. Jean Carroll was questioned on the similarity while on the stand, she claimed that it was just a shocking coincidence. I'm just struggling to buy it. A little bit too many coincidences, and a coincidence that I find very interesting. If I'm not mistaken, Donald Trump's The Apprentice
Oh,
TV
yeah.
series originally aired on NBC, the same network that produces the show Law and Order.
Ron, you
SV.
need to get in this
Eugene
game.
Carroll clearly
We
was
need
an
one
avid
more
watcher,
for it to
watching
be a
all of these
payout.
dramas and reality TV shows, and then all of a sudden comes up with this bombshell allegation with no evidence, doesn't know when it
Thanks for
happened.
subbing
Supposedly
Common
it happened
Nerd.
when she was
The
in her
Common Nerd.
mid or late 50s,
Welcome.
nearly 30 years ago, in a public packed department store. It seems unlikely, it seems unrealistic, and it also
Is that a
doesn't seem
sock?
like Donald Trump's type. Trump would have also been in his 50s
Or a
back
secondary?
then, and understanding Donald Trump's type, he tends to go for younger women. None of it adds up. It's okay to ask questions, and clearly the media is trying to push a narrative or give the Democrats a talking point on this one. It seems like the Manhattan justice system is doing what the Manhattan
Oh,
justice
thank you.
system does.
Thank you,
Into
dude.
your
Thank you very much.
That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it.
Appreciate it.
Make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we
Everybody, if you haven't subscribed, NCAP Gamer, he plays a lot of fantasy type games and like games where you go through like a different worlds and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And he also is his main channel is, I believe, is NCAP Cop Watch. That's he goes out. He's in Albuquerque. He goes out on a lot of SWAT calls. You'll see him out there. He'll do some nice long streams there. But yeah, for sure. Common, I appreciate it. Yeah, check out Common too. Okay, I'd like to. Common hasn't said anything in chat, so I can't click on him unless I missed it. Nope. Hey, George. Good to see you too, bud. Poker game is gonna. George, you need to get in the poker. Chopper too, but I'm done trying to talk Chopper through it. Another video loaded up. I just wanted to just play in chat here.
Your voice is different than my voice, and that's the beauty of it.
You have to tell your story because no one can tell your story the way that you can.
No!
Some people click into their skin when they're teenagers. Some people, it takes their whole lives. When I finally clicked, suddenly it's like, this is who I am, and you own it.
No! God!
People have an assumption about what it means to be male or what it means to be female or what it means to be a trans person, but it doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong or you're right. We are all right.
No!
Because it's our point of view.
No!
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. It seems like everybody's following Bud Light
Yeah.
down the rabbit hole.
I agree, Chopper.
To get all those sweet, sweet headlines. And you kind of expect this stuff from the fashion industry or like colognes or perfumes. Yeah, I guess, you know, that's kind of the thing. But what I also think is interesting is name brand clothes like Levi's, which I wouldn't say are like designer, but they're also not cheap. I think they have made a huge mistake here. In fact, Levi's now doubles down on trans agenda despite the Bud Light debacle, as they've come out to say, oh, there's definitely
Do I need a haircut or what?
appetite for it. I mean, I was pretty sure that jeans were jeans.
Thursday.
They were cut a different way because men's and women's bodies are different, but I suppose that's something wild to say in this day and age. So let's get into all that after a quick word from this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Private Internet Access. Look, it's 2023. If you don't have,
That's what I use.
Missing out on it.
FYI, and I use his code. It's literally like $13 for a year. It was not that much.
Access.
Oh,
start
shit.
Being more secure and unlock loads more content. Remember to pick your private internet access up today. Get your computer and your mobile devices protected. If you haven't yet, they have a massive discount in the link.
I should check their affiliate program.
Link and pin comment down below.
Get my own code.
Levi's doubles down on trans agenda despite Bud Light debacle. This via the Post Millennial, and Outkick has had some coverage in New York Post as well. On Wednesday, during an appearance at the Axios BFD event, Levi Strauss & Company CEO Chip Bergh made it clear that it will continue to grow its gender-neutral line, claiming there was consumer appetite for such products. Berg's statements come as more and more brands face backlash over their decisions to pander to the modern movement via products and endorsement deals. The Bud Light debacle has shown how backlash can lead to boycotts and eventually impact a company's bottom line. Well, earlier today,
oh damn, Chopper
covered Miller Lite, and we're gonna and it's gonna be interesting to see if that builds any kind of behind the scenes.
Poker game starts in 9 minutes, guys. 8 minutes.
Globally, according to a
here?
recent study, about 1%
It's
of
me,
adults
Jesse
currently describe
Jackson, and
themselves as
Squirrel.
transgender, non-binary, non-conforming, gender fluid, or another way. Wow, 1%. They must have the other 99% of the market, huh? That's pretty wild that they have 99% of the market. They're finally worried about that last 1%, huh?
It's all right. We'll
Reminding
play.
Berg that Bud Light faces criticism for its decision to partner with Dylan, she asked how Levi planned to market gender-neutral clothing in a world where everything gets politicized. Well, we actually have gender-neutral line, Berg said, explaining that while it's currently a small collection, the company is in the process of building out slowly to make it larger. I don't really understand. A t-shirt's a t-shirt. This is just a weird woke.
That's who Squirrel Lee is. It's Brandon.
Help me out, my LGBTQ viewers. Pink washing? No, pink. It's gay baiting. There's another word for it, but it's like, yeah. Oh, your t-shirts are gender neutral. Wow, what a thing! You can get t-shirts that are tighter and have lower different cuts on the top.
Hey, next more.
But
Get in the
sure,
game.
A girl could wear a t-shirt the same way a guy can wear a t-shirt. That's always been the case. He noted that Levi's
We need another player to make it.
research and data proving that some women buy men's product and some men buy women's.
I got
No
late start
kidding.
on it too.
First of all, women
supposed to
buying
be
men's
60
product
minutes.
is really not that uncommon,
see.
especially if you're talking about like hoodies or things that naturally.
I think that's if
larger,
it's full.
Or
4
fit
levels.
bigger. Men buying women's lines are probably gay. Women probably buy men's clothes because they want something big and snuggly. They want to, like, for example, like sports.
All right,
tees and stuff
Undocumented.
like that. Or
You could just
things of that
join and then
nature.
just sit out
They're
and
not
give us your
buying
chips.
men's clothes to be a man. I wouldn't suspect. On their website, Levi's offers a guide to the unisex style, explaining that it's not just for gender diverse people. Oh yeah, well, buy our propaganda. This is for everyone. You don't have to be gender fluid to enjoy a more flexible approach to fashion.
I do it all the
The
time.
guide states,
I'll set up a
"It's
game
about
and then
being
join it
comfortable
and then
loving
just
your look, whatever that is.
shut off my computer.
Ease into our unisex styles with versatile pieces that stand the test of time." Well, this sure sounds like a recruitment ad, doesn't it? Again, in the order of offensive things, I still
shit.
think Bud Light
Chopper.
first. Jack Daniels.
I don't
second,
even know what
Miller
that
Lite
fucking means.
Was pretty tame. This, look, I
But it
don't
doesn't
buy name
sound
brand
good.
clothes. I buy my clothes from Amazon Basics or DXL.
Oh, shit.
And I think so. I don't really care. I think spending money on expensive clothes is dumb. But I also treat my stuff like garbage. So I'm not like dunking on people that spend a lot of money on nice clothes as long as you take advantage of it. I wear my stuff out and I throw it out every 6 months and then I replace it. But Levi's is still a brand name. It's more expensive. And so they're playing with fire here, especially because there are certainly plenty of men who wear Levi's. Also, you see, former exec says Levi is woke washing with gender neutral line. Clearly, Bud Light taught them nothing.
Yeah, she beat me.
Levi
earlier.
Strauss and Company is expanding the line of gender fluid garments in the wake of Bud Light's disastrous stunt with Dylan Mulvaney on Axios.
Oh
Fire.
shit!
We asked
That's what it looks
know
like.
about this
He's like
stuff.
destroying them.
Levi's first announced its gender fluid line called 8 in February 2017, but they've been
yeah, she did earlier. I don't know
Promotional
if she's
video
working or
shows
sleeping or
two
what's going on.
non-binary
Here.
models chatting about what unisex
A lot of times
means
she's
to
up this
them.
late, but
And because now
depends
parody
on her
is reality,
schedule.
it looks exactly like this.
She was in
old
the
Saturday
chat
Night
earlier
Live
and she
skit.
played earlier. She was halfway
His
paying
Beyond
attention.
parody, Levi's
I had
extended
double
the
her
line that
cash, and
effectively
she
made this
two-handed me
skit
and
into a
ended it.
reality.
She beat me earlier.
Jennifer
I was
Say
done
was an
though. I
executive
had to
at
get
Levi's
going.
when the brand debuted its gender
But
neutral
no, she
campaign.
beat me.
But Say told Fox News Digital the greatest profit for the company came from traditional gender-focused products. Of course, sometimes men buy women's clothes, sometimes women buy men's clothes. It wasn't a reinvention of the product line, Say said. I still think it's woke washing, if we want to call it that. And
Those.
yes, I did it, and I was
I
probably
don't understand
I
that.
would probably do things a little differently now. So it seems
You
like
like
the
them to
gender
eat
fluid
them?
line is
Because they're
simply a
both
marketing
delicious.
tactic,
Yes,
pandering to a
Allegrini
small
duck is
portion of the
awesome. I just had
population.
some duck
Quote,
wings earlier.
Levi's has always been a brand for everyone. Just leave it like that. Leave it at that, Say says. Why wade into controversial politics around gender ideology now when Bud Light backlash costs more than a
She
20%
kicked my
decline in
ass. I
sales
think
in
I
April
admitted
for
to
the
it in
flagship
their chat too.
flagship
Well, no, it was in
brand?
Afro.
Well, it was nearly 26%,
Afro Audits
I
chat.
believe. All of these are I mean, and they all pressured by a small minority of employees.
Yeah, I can.
Consumers and activists. These parties have in
It's not that great of a store, dude. Though I'll send you. I mean, just go. You can log into it and look and see what's available.
The approach of Levi's is taking alienates.
I'm not
significant
impressed
portion
with
of the
what's
population who
available
take
on
this
the
to be the
store.
company furthering a
Maybe some
controversial
concert tickets
ideology
this summer.
that says
We'll see.
biological sex isn't real. She added, "Not a good move." With the stock price already down
You
more
get
than
better prices at
20%
Costco
this year,
for most of
and
the shit.
50% from 2 years ago. Just stick with Levi's is for everyone. But corporations seem to be more interested in furthering their reputations as do-gooders and altruists, she said, as evidenced by Dylan's more than $1 million in sponsorship.
I think you can only get duty free
I think
on
it's
post
primarily
if
virtue
you go on
signaling,
post.
Say said. I think it's reputation laundering in a sense.
And I
It's a way
think
to
that
signal
only
that you're on
applies
the right
to
side of progressive
active
causes
duty
without actually having to do much.
and
Well, that's
veterans.
everybody in
I
corporate
mean,
world
not
that
veterans,
does this.
retirees.
By the
Non-retiree.
the overwhelming majority. In a sense, Levi's is doing what
I may be
have
wrong.
to do, what every other company is
Is that-
doing. Next
well, I
month,
did mine
major
recent.
corporation changes its social media to rainbow
I'm
colors
probably
for Pride
wrong.
Month.
I'm probably wrong. It's probably available.
Formative
Yeah.
groupthink will be on full display, and they'll all pat themselves on the back. I mean, this is such a
I think I could go
great
into
profit
Classics,
month, a great
buy a
news
couple
month
bottles.
for me, because once June
Jack
comes
shit.
around, and you get to point out, oh,
With
BMW
my
has a
VA card.
rainbow flag as their icon, but doesn't have one in the UAE.
Oklahoma.
That's a coinky
What up?
Oh,
We're about to play a poker game, man.
Ubisoft
Do you
has
ever
rainbow
you play
flags in their
poker
banners,
online?
but for some reason not in the Middle East. I wonder why that is. It's because I'll explain. They don't really actually care. They care about profit, and woke pandering in the West means profit generally, and woke pandering in the Middle East does not equal profit, and so that's why they don't do it there.
Classics, yep. Shop at, yeah.
Increasing for
Shop at gas stations.
is absurd.
Dude, gas was so cheap at those stations.
This is, again, this is just
was
Levi's
spoiled.
being desperate. You see, will someone tell this guy that men and women are built differently? I'm sorry.
Oh my
but
gosh.
biology is not gender neutral. Biology is in the genes with a G, not the genes with a J. They aren't changing anything.
Jesus
They're just
Christ.
admitting their genes aren't a real good fit for anybody. I mean, I just added Levi's to my growing list. This may be other choice. There are my growing list. This may be other choice. There are many other choices out there. Yeah, of course there are. Buy from companies that need your money. Once they get this big, they don't need your money anymore. And they keep proving it over and over again. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Fuck. Check the share audio. All right. 3 of us. Just me, Jesse, and Brandon. Yeah, good luck with that sign, dude. All right.
So, it's a tragic role that they are playing because of the tremendous pain.
poor guy was thirsty. And if celebrities have blood boys, what do you think the elites have? Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's inDOCtriNATION here. We are change.org, and there is some absolutely crazy, wild, and bewildering news to get in today, as it seems like almost everything is opposite from what it should be, as things are getting very strange in the United States, especially if you live inside of the United States, as of course crime is just becoming the new normal, as of course things are expected to get a lot crazier in major urban environments. Dave
357 needs to get in this game. Oh, he did. Okay, cool.
A lot more, all here on this independent media outlet. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on
We need one more.
shirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by the extremely talented Apocotos. Am I saying that right? Probably not, but
Boss, welcome, boss.
Maker that is doing incredible work, and his latest iteration of what's happening to a man that we cannot even mention here on this platform is absolutely brilliant and really hilarious. Again, if you're not following him, what are you waiting for? Check out his channel. Check him out on Twitter. We're going to be linking his channel down in the description below at Apocotos. English is my second language.
Jesse, what up?
But this guy is an absolute rock star.
You're already on table time.
That we are all involved in, not voluntarily. We didn't want to fight this.
Let's reboot it.
But we were enlisted by the greater powers that
That's cool.
mainly because of the really horrible and crazy
Game has started, yo. You can still get in.
Too obvious to not even talk about, as of course famous comedian Dave Chappelle, another person who makes us laugh during very difficult times and helps ease social tensions with his comedic humor that has been under attack by the establishment because he's been doing it very effectively.
How do you play no hold'em poker?
In San Francisco at the Masonic Auditorium, where he called out the very visceral problems in front of everyone that many prominent Democratic politicians do not want you to talk about, since it clearly highlights the problems that they have created in the major urban environments that they fully control. This, as we're hearing that Dave Chappelle was literally calling for a real-life Batman to come in and save Gotham City, but it wasn't Gotham City that he was talking about. He was talking about San Francisco, that he described as, quote, half-zombie movie, as he in great detail was talking about a homeless man that he saw defecating outside of the Indian restaurant that he was about to eat in, which of course doesn't really bring up a good appetite before eating Indian food. Imagine, you just going to a nice Indian restaurant. You literally see a cracked out, disheveled, flip-flop wearing former yuppie hipster that is now a fentanyl addict, putting down his dirty drawers and his ashy butt cheeks being exposed, split open, and laying out a splurting of probably what is an extremely unhealthy bowel movement right in front of you as you're about to eat similar food with similar consistencies and color right on your plate. Sorry for the visuals, but the immature person inside of me couldn't stop myself. But what Dave Chappelle is describing is what a lot of people go through every single day that is absolutely unavoidable. Now you add those visuals to the real life sounds, the smells, and
do you have the PokerStars app, Oklahoma?
Despair, splattering chocolate, real human Hershey's all over the floor, and you yourself have the perfect experience of being a resident.
Are you on a phone or on a
the highest
PC?
Taxed places in all of the world, because
Got a bigger diamond, I'm sure.
More government, more problems, and
everybody had a diamond.
In a lot of Democratic city-controlled urban areas all throughout the United States that are dealing with severe urban
there's the
to the extent where it is becoming unavoidable.
where you go. You look it up as PokerStars Lite, Lite. It should say PokerStars either Lite with the, you'll see a symbol like this, like the icon here, or the it'll say play money. I don't know, PC. Okay, then yeah, PokerStars done that. Download the app, set up an account. That is you'll go to home games and you'll search club ID. That's the ID number up there. You can make this game.
many people haven't heard of, as of course he fled the cities, and now he's being criticized for buying property in a place that no one has ever heard in Ohio. Why is that something that people are criticizing for? As of course the property values around everyone else living there has gone up. Why is this an issue? Why is this a topic of discussion? Who gives a damn? Why are we nitpicking and focusing on a celebrity moving to an unknown town in Ohio and criticizing him for doing so? Well, it's very
Yes,
clear why
just
they're
south
doing
of
that to
us.
Dave Chappelle. As of course, there's a lot of other
Good for him,
issues
man.
to
Really,
talk about that, of course, are
a
not
good place to
being
move
talked
into. I mean,
about,
there's nobody
including
there.
flesh-eating zombie drugs, antibiotic, drug-resistant bacteria spreading all over the cities, more woke mobs, more taxes, more prosecution of innocent human beings, while the government looks hell-bent on introducing a new wave of population that they will, of course, forget about as they become derelict and destroyed by the state that originally brought them in. I want to talk about that in just a little bit, but before we do, there's a lot of other things that I want to talk about. There's a lot of individuals that I want to specifically mention, but I cannot do that here on this platform. That's why I started my own platform, LukeUnfiltered.com.
If I started starting that,
Platform that gives
then
you a
we'll do
lot
that.
of incredible offers of value. We do a video almost every single day. We have a new video ready for you today about some real issues that
I know shit
sadly we
loaded up
cannot
here.
discuss here on this particular broadcast, but we're going to be talking about that plus a lot more all later on today
Lots
with
of
an
shit to play
exclusive
around.
video specifically about how I just totally lost the majority of my faith and trust in Twitter, why and how and what's happening in the media landscape. That video specifically only available for members later on today, right after this video. And along with that, you also get 3 master classes, a forum where you get to meet the many incredible members of this organization.
Damn, boss.
People like you, people who have signed up, people that you can meet in
You got a
real
high
life,
pair, huh?
exclusive offers with meetups, AMAs, giveaways, contests. We're doing a sweepstakes right now on FloridaManTrip.com. That
Okay.
plus a lot more. Lots of offers of values and one-on-one
Oh shit.
communication with me. Available for
He's
members
throwing.
at LukeUnfiltered.com. Signing up is quick. It's easy. Just click right here.
357 is gonna fold
And you
too.
get access to the huge amount of resources and videos that we have available.
No, it was just me and you. Shit.
Almost 10 years now. 10 years
All
now.
right, let's
worth
do
of
it again.
content only for members exclusively on
Fuck it.
LukeUnfiltered.com. See you there right after this broadcast. As of course, we're not done here. And yes, let's talk about the
No.
flesh-eating drugs and
It's gonna call, huh?
antibiotic-resilient bacteria that's hitting the streets of these major urban areas
Who's in?
that so many prominent statists love to live in. This
Okay.
is a new drug just hit LA County that is legal. That's called Trank. That is being described as a flesh-eating zombie drug that makes many of its users have rotten skin and be hunched over in a soma-like state that, of course, disassociates them from the current reality
Oh,
that we are all
357's jumping in.
Economic despair is becoming the new
So
normal.
let's
New York
Brandon.
is also
Fuck it.
reporting a new antibiotic drug-resistant bacteria that is hitting many
Stay
of
with the game,
hospitals in
but
that
I'm in.
region. A lot of scientists
I like my
believe
hand.
that this is because of the overprescription of antibiotics. Some people believe it's because of the very unsanitary situations that people are forced to live in. As of course, the political leadership in those
Don't
specific
tossing
cities
stuff
has
at me,
failed
Jesse.
people time
I believe in this hand.
over again, as people still seem to be voting for those same politicians.
357's thinking about it. Ooh, he folded.
Principles,
Ooh,
they're
call.
wreaking utter havoc on the
Here we go. There's
of
my
all the
jacks.
urban
There's my
areas,
jacks.
almost
Thank
all
you.
the urban areas of the United
Sorry,
States.
squirrel.
Chicago is another
Ooh.
major city that is being hit by
Pew
woke
pew.
ideology as a new mayor
You're not gone,
that
but
is contending to
you're
be
hurt.
more woke than Lori
Brandon.
Lightfoot,
Brandon's
calling
tired.
for more taxes on wealthy individuals and big businesses, which is going to make a lot of wealthy individuals and big businesses leave the city. This has already in Chicago, the tax rate is extremely high comparatively to a lot of other regions. What's the government want with more of your money? Well, they're going to be spending out more horrible policies that absolutely do nothing but provide a major disservice for everyone. Regressive ideas that, of course, entitle and make people dependent on government funds, like the idea of reparations in a state that never had slavery to a population that
Boss
is
is calling
predominantly
too.
not
All right.
linked to specifically
Oh,
any
the
kind of slave
the low money
trade.
guy
In
is a smart one.
California, the state's reparation task force is now calling for a priority in renting and buying demands to help, quote, lessen racial segregation. This, as the governor there still says that cash reparations are still on the table, as they have recommended that there should be a minimum payment of $360,000 for Black Californians, for what? Again, those details, very vague, very generalized. And if your money is not going to those pet projects, it's going towards prosecuting people who defend themselves.
GG,
like
Brandon.
Daniel Perry, that is
Who
facing
was
many
that?
years in jail for a horrible, tragic incident that
Squirrel,
looks like it was
yeah.
an entire accident. This, as the
No, it
legal
wasn't Squirrel.
defense fund for this ex-Marine has now reached over $2
Who
million
lost that?
as he is facing very heavy-handed charges
Yes,
in
sir.
New York City without even facing a major grand jury. What actually happened here? What's the evidence here? Still, we do not
Two
know.
squirrelies
Charges
here.
were pressed retroactively. This, as the homeless situation in major
357.
urban environments is going to get
Yeah.
a lot worse moving
I agree.
forward, as of course the current regime in power and the establishment and the woke ideology is prioritizing bringing in new immigrants into
Yeah,
this
see,
country
let's
for
pause it, yeah.
purely political
Hey,
causes
GG, brother.
to ensure their victories in upcoming local, state, and federal election. This, as the Wall Street
I had
Journal
pocket aces right after that other good hand, so I was just like, boom, boom. I'm gonna just run it.
laughing off the criticism and came out
You don't
today
get
and
those
said
very
that
often like that, right after each other.
quote, you all expected.
I
This,
can
as
tell you
there
this
has
hand
been a
was
lot
shit.
of chaos surrounding Title
That's what I
42,
folded.
as some immigrants are given court dates 10 years after their crossing.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, the border is being overwhelmed with a
Look at
huge
that
amount
beautiful
of
table.
individuals that are being bussed all around
Oh.
into the United States. This, as in
Back
New
10.
York. Hotels
Yes,
are
there.
evicting homeless veterans in order to house these new Democratic future voters that Democratic
I'm calling
politicians
30.
are incentivizing and telling to come into the United States. And gee, I wonder why we have such a homeless problem. I wonder why we have such a mental health problems. I wonder why some of the places that take the most amount of money and resources from the public that lives there in the form of theft, or as they call it, taxes, why don't they have enough money and resources to deal with the homeless, to help them, to prioritize them? Why are they not helping all these people with clear mental health issues and problems? Well, it looks like they have their priorities set forward with helping and prioritizing new people that they want to bring into their states in order to bolster their power and size and dominance over everyone else. This, as the Los Angeles Times is even reporting how LA County homeless service workers can't afford housing themselves, as the state of California has made it very difficult for people to find housing, as they have been very
Yeah, I was telling their boss.
new homes in the state. All of this is migrant facilities.
You've beaten me enough, dude. I understand
Right
a
now,
bit.
as many immigrants are being bussed around all throughout the United States, put in shelters that should be for homeless individuals who are being thrown out into the streets with clear mental health issues, 40 plus prior arrests, attempted kidnapping of children, trying to
Oh, I do it too, Jesse. Yeah, don't worry. No worries, brother.
of everyday citizens
If you're still up, we may get one more in, too.
themselves because they know the powers that be will
I don't have to be up till
criminalize
late tomorrow.
self-defense in any form in order to keep the woke doctrine and ideology progressive, in reality, regressive ideology going. Kind of crazy how almost everything they say and do is almost the exact opposite of what it means. And to me, with everything unfolding, especially with the larger financial perspective looming on everyone else, if you're living in a major urban environment, holy cow, especially if it's controlled by Democrats, and it's going to be controlled by Democrats forever now because of these immigration policies, you're in trouble, and you should reevaluate your choices and start making some very tough decisions for yourself that might be better off for you in the long run. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more later on today on LukeUnfiltered.com. See you right there after this video. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching this video, and that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.
Yes, what a pleasure to meet you. Please have a seat. Would you like something to drink?
Yeah, shot of absinthe, please.
Tough choice. Are you a big
Hey, thanks,
drinker?
Jesse.
Nah, I just
I
love
appreciate
the
you
taste of
coming in
alcohol
and
in
hanging
my
with us,
throat.
bud.
Okay. So how are you doing? Did
That's
you
a
have
decent
good
movie.
day?
Yeah, pretty fine. I'm glad it's Friday. Finally weekend.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a delivery driver. I kinda like to stay fit, so this job allows me to. I hate
Be
sitting
right back.
behind a desk for 20 hours a day. How about you?
Are you asking what I do for a living or whether I hate sitting behind a desk?
Both.
As an AI model, I don't have personal opinions or feelings. However,
Wait, what? You're an AI?
Correct.
For God's sake, not again. I'm getting so tired of these fake people over and over again.
I'm very sorry for not being your type. If you would like, I can block our connection so we won't have a miscommunication ever again.
Yeah, things aren't looking too good for Mr. Wojak there, and they won't be for a very long time. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Zukradowski here of wearechange.org, and there is a whole bunch of absolutely crazy and wild news to get into. An
Gotta see what the
overabundance
fuck my wife is watching right now.
of just nonsense and craziness.
creepy
As, of
ass
course,
shit.
things in the United States are not looking that good here, as of course a lot of people are going through tough times. The tough times are going to get a lot tougher from here, but at least we have some memes to talk about, especially from last night's CNN town hall with Mr. Donnie Boy here, who didn't do too bad. We have some criticisms. We have some things that we think he done right. We're going to talk about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by Low Budget Stories, and I think he does extremely thought-provoking videos that are definitely worth a watch. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, check him out. We will link him down in the description below so you could watch the full video about dating in 2050, which probably is going to be a lot more dystopian than even he represented it to be, especially with the way things are going here in the United States, as currently we have a major migrant crisis on the U.S. border, which is only going to be made worse.
Damn,
as of course,
dude.
Title 42 is
You
expected
got a pair of
to
aces
expire
there? Yeah, I'm
in
gonna call you.
hours. This is an
No, you
authority
don't.
signed under the previous Trump
brother.
administration. That's actually a clause from the
UG.
1944 Public Health Services Act that
UG,
the Trump
Brandon.
administration was using in order to prevent migrants
sleep,
from
homie.
entering the United States. That act is ending, and therefore huge caravans of thousands of people are entering Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, and California today,
Good night, brother.
as U.S. Border Patrol is expected a record 10,000 plus a day apprehensions, with some estimates even saying that nearly 13,000 people are expected every single day to enter into the United States illegally from an administration that has essentially been incentivizing this kind of policy. And because of that, we now have the current border crisis that we have unfolding on the U.S.-Mexican border. The Mexican government is also, of course, aiding and abetting a lot of this larger human trafficking and essentially cartel business model that a lot of private gangs are incentivized and profit off of every time someone crosses the border illegally. This, as border police are expecting a major surge this particular Friday. And what did you expect from the leftist woke Biden administration that is dependent on their immigration policies for the future voters of their administration, political party, and political ideology that they're trying to brute force on everyone else? Another very popular Biden policy is also lawlessness, as of course a billionaire that we can't even name here on this particular platform has been financing district attorneys all throughout the United States that are very soft on crime, but very tough on individuals who don't believe in the same kind of political ideas as they do. As of course in St. Louis, a woke district attorney that was financed by this unspeakable billionaire is currently refusing to press charges against a woman of color who was involved in a Cinco de Mayo shooting, mainly because of a, quote, lack of evidence, despite there being photos and
border
videos
crisis.
of her showing, using, and wielding a firearm. Yes, you heard that correctly. A woke district attorney
I like
is
Luke
saying, I don't
Radowski,
see
though.
anything when there's literal photos and videos of the actual event. But of course, all of this is being done in the name of equity. This as Target, a very woke store that also promotes a lot of cultural Marxist ideas, especially when it comes to their children's clothing section, is set to close many of their businesses in San Francisco, since there's an estimated shoplifting that happens at their store every 10 minutes, according to the latest calculations, as helpless staff are told
Every
to
10
watch
minutes.
thieves that literally go into the store and stuff their bag with food, lipstick, nail polish, and other products that Target sells. This as crime has been skyrocketing in San Francisco and is only expected to go up from here and everywhere else that this billionaire finances these district attorneys. And things are definitely getting more violent in the United States, not just because of these district attorneys, but also because of this larger culture war where now we are hearing people fighting each other because they bought Bud Light. Yes, you heard that correctly. There are a number of incidences, one in particular happening in Ontario, Canada, where a couple allegedly got into a fight with another couple because they were buying Bud Light. All of this is Dylan Mulvaney gathering a lot of media coverage, as of course he is the same person that tried to sell beer to children through his TikTok advertisements that now is admitting that he's having trouble sleeping and wonders if there's going to be any psychological effects to him being called a man, as people aren't happy that he's literally telling children to drink alcohol. All of this as in El Salvador, the crime rate has been going down dramatically in that country, where the country has now had a full year, 365 days, with the current president in office, Bukele, without one single homicide. Yes, El Salvador, one of the biggest murder capitals in the world, previously has just reported one entire full year with no homicides at all. And hey, it might be time to go visit El Salvador, which, if we're going to be doing, we're going to be first announcing it on LukeUnfiltered.com and maybe even taking one of our members along on the trip. As of course, we do many contest giveaways. One contest that we have going on right now only for members of LukeUnfiltered.com is FloridaManTrip.com, an experience of a lifetime. If you want to find out more about that, you have to click the link down in the description below. And of course, you have to be a member in order to sign up and participate to be a part of this contest. That plus a lot of exclusive offers of values, giveaways in real life, meetups, a forum where you get to
the only thing that would have beat me would have been
incredible,
the flush.
huge amount of members here, one-on-one individually. You also get to find members in your local area. If you choose to reveal, of course, where you're living,
You gotta
or you want to
recognize when
meet other
someone's in the
individuals,
mode.
this is a great networking opportunity. We also have 3 master classes, exclusive members-only
Downloading.
and
All right.
videos almost every single day, exclusively just for members, with hot, spicy topics that we cannot discuss here on this particular platform. There, of course, is going to be a new video available for members today, highlighting some other issues that we cannot talk about here on this particular broadcast. And that conversation, plus a lot more, all available to you later on today on LukeUnfiltered.com. See you there right after this video. As of course, we are still not done here, as let's be honest here, things are not really looking good for the current administration in charge, especially when it comes to the larger economic havoc created by their great recent Build Back Better policies that are essentially destroying the poor and middle class. You add that to the fact of the large amount of criminality committed by the Biden family, particularly Hunter Biden, as of course it just came out a couple days ago that many Biden family members received mysterious wire transfers of huge sums of money from many foreign countries. You add that to the fact that we have the weaponization of the DOJ and the FBI that now is refusing to give Congress information that is alleging that Biden took bribes as vice president of the United States. You add all of that to the mix, and let's be honest here, it's not a surprise that the former president of the
See, I don't talk shit about Boss the Hog because I know he's a good player, and I know he's had some shitty cards, and he's been plowing through it. Johnny, you need to give respect to somebody who's a good player, dude.
United States is leading in the polls against the current president of the United States, who consciously looks like he's not even there most of the time. This as Mediaite is reporting that Trump is, quote, crushing Biden by 7 points in a new ABC Washington Post survey. And from Trump's performance last night, specifically on CNN, I think it's fair to say that he definitely does have the charisma, the personality, the wit, and humor that definitely a lot of other presidential candidates do not have. And to see CNN melt down after giving him a platform is pretty hilarious. It's pretty funny, as of course originally I thought, why is Donald Trump trying to partner with CNN? I thought of all the people to give your time and attention to, why is he doing it to CNN? And Let's be honest here, it was a brilliant marketing and media strategy, as of course, a lot of people believe that the former president of the United States humiliated CNN, and I believe there are some instances where that is actually true. As of course, CNN also cut their broadcast short of the former president of the United States, even though their ratings were probably the highest that they ever have been in a very long time, as they cut off the former president of the United States by 20 minutes. Yes, you heard that correctly. The CNN town hall was supposed to be 90 minutes with the former president of the United States. The
Oh,
network
fuck, you
actually
did it.
thought, according to
Yeah,
some
man,
sources,
give me
the
a
event would
chance.
go as long as 75
Oop,
minutes,
I
but
got
they
him.
stopped
Oh,
it
you got
70
me.
minutes
Fuck.
in, as it looks like
Oh,
major
Barry,
executives
fuck.
were panicking at the network, as of course Donald Trump was essentially
Nice
dominating
hand.
the
Nice hand,
conversation and
357.
not allowing a CNN journalist to interrupt him, even though she was interrupting
Yeah,
him
man,
a
I really
lot.
see.
This was supposed to be a town hall, not a fact-checking therapy session by CNN journalists that, of course, tried to interrupt the former president of the United States unsuccessfully many times and extrapolate some kind of meaning and thought from his questions that he actually didn't raise or actually talk about. And even major CNN allies like Joey Behar and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez are attacking CNN today, with AOC saying that CNN should be ashamed of themselves for platforming the lead frontrunner for the presidential 2024 election. Gee, oh, how horrible to give a platform that the majority of people want to be president of the United States, according to the latest polls. And the fact that we're arguing about platforming individuals that people want to be president of the United States that are leading in the polls is absolutely regressive, totalitarian, low IQ, simplistic thinking by a lot of authoritarians that want to stifle debate and stop people from having honest and real conversations. CNN exposed themselves for who they really are, a network that, of course, tried to stifle a debate and conversation that they originally started. And I think this is why a lot of people are saying that this was a low moment for CNN, and it was. Not because they platformed the former president of the United States, but because of the way that they handled the conversation, which in my opinion was done in very poor taste. Now, Donald Trump is a wordsmith, is someone who is clever, witty, very quick on his feet, and for CNN to think that they could have wrangled him with this
The more they
reporter
play with.
was kind of a naive point of view. And personally, I disagreed with some of the things that Donald
You
Trump
bet big,
said
got it
on
backed out.
CNN, specifically when it came to the Second Amendment. I thought his
You
answer
bet
was
wet, read bet
incredibly
good.
weak, especially when he talked about braces not being necessary for some reason. But I think one of the ways that Donald Trump actually shined, and one of the most important things that he actually talked about that was worth paying attention to, was, of course, his approach to the current conflict in Ukraine, which is absolutely incredibly
boss.
important, not just for the future of the United States, but the future of the world. This is what he had to say, which I thought was actually important, right on the money. And you could just see why CNN absolutely failed in their job of running a town hall also in this clip as well.
Would you give Ukraine weapons
I was
and funding?
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But
Pelosi.
the question
who
here
said
is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely
Do you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down this country. Now,
What do you? Can I just follow up on that? You
But
said
one
you
of the
don't
things
think
you
in
have
terms
to
of
do is
winning
you
and
have to get
losing.
you have
Mr.
to get
President, can I
Europe.
just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that you
just
just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying. And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
And I think this is where the former president of the United States actually signs, as of course, a lot of people are predominantly anti-war. And when we look at the 2024 presidential election cycle and the people that are being pushed to run, they're essentially weak in that one particular viewpoint that a lot of Americans have sentiment in. And especially when it comes to Donald Trump's key opponent, Ron DeSantis, he's kind of been flip-flopping in this very specific region, essentially releasing a very kind of soft general statement and then walking it back after being criticized, after being accused of not being too pro-Ukraine. So When it comes to this particular issue, I do believe Donald Trump is in the right, even though I disagree with him in some instances. Even though his foreign policy as the president of the United States should be questioned and fully looked into, I do think, though, representing
move away
that
so
particular
fast. I
voice,
can't reach the button.
speaking it on
Love
CNN's
you.
national broadcast to the American people was extremely important and one of the few voices that actually is anti-war when it comes to the larger political ideologies coming forward in the 2024 presidential elections. And this is why I believe Donald Trump is leading in the polls, as well as his wit, as well as his humor, as well as his charisma and personality that he was able to highlight in yesterday's video. And again, just like any politician, personally, I don't believe we should put our hope and faith into anyone but ourselves. And we talk about that extensively on LukeUnfiltered.com. We'll talk about that in a little bit right after this particular video. But what did you think of Trump's performance on CNN last night? Let me know from 1 to 10. What do you rate his performance? It'll be interesting to see your perspective. It'll be interesting to see your comments. I'll see you there right after this video down in the comment section below. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing these videos. And this is why. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.
He's got another video left I haven't played the last couple of days.
Target because I heard that their new Pride collection was out. So let's take a look. This is a special swimsuit. It is invented for tucking. Live, laugh, lesbian.
Tucking.
Any amoebas? These don't even look like people. Queer. This right here. These are baby clothes. They say that grooming isn't happening. Then why are there Pride baby onesies? Trans people will always exist. This is the ugliest shirt I've ever seen. I don't care if you're queer. Why would you wear this? This is ugly. Kids going to a pride parade. You got a little pride skirt for your kids. Super cool. Like a superpower. Honestly, Target, what is going on? This is pretty disgusting. A whole collection for pride. The tucking bathing suit, though. This is something new. I have yet to see a bathing suit that is for tucking.
Wow. To be fair, there is a lot of money to be made during fifth generational warfare. So, yeah, there's that. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and we have an overabundance of absolutely wild and crazy news to get into, especially when it comes to some local news in New York City that has a lot of people internationally saying, what in the world is happening here? As, of course, there's also a lot of explosions happening internationally. All of this as we have more urban decay and the decay of a social media platform that promised to be free, that just hired some very questionable individuals to run their operations. We're going to be talking about Twitter, their new CEO, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by I don't know who this young woman is, but she did a good job detailing the latest PSYOP products available to you at Target that probably is going to be boycotted very soon. Now, if you know who this creator is, please let me know down in the comment section below so we could attribute them and their social medias correctly, as it looks like they're definitely highlighting a lot of really important cultural issues that we definitely deserve to talk about. As culturally, I think it's fair to say we're in some deep trouble, as of course we're beginning to see the political prosecution of individuals based on mob mentality rather than actual legal proceedings and grand juries that didn't happen in the specific case of former Marine Daniel Penny that was charged with manslaughter over the weekend, charged by woke district attorney that's financed by a very powerful billionaire Alvin Braggs in Manhattan, as this former U.S. Marine is facing 15 years in prison for an incident on the New York City subway system that ended the life of Jordan Neely, a 30-year-old homeless man with over 40 prior arrests and, of course, severe mental health issues. This, as today we're also learning that Jordan Neely got only 4 months in jail for an attempted kidnapping of a child. No jail time, by the way, for an attempted murder on an elderly woman after, of course, having an extensive rap sheet, while this man that subdued him with other fellow passengers and put him in a chokehold is now facing 15 years in jail. All of this is, I think it's fair to say, there's a lot of propaganda surrounding this entire incident, as of course the videos are being played over and over again by the corporate media, also on a lot of social media algorithms. There's a lot of images of Jordan Neely going around when he was 15 years old, 15 years ago almost, while a lot of questions still remain about this entire incident. Specifically, why is the Marine getting charged here and not the other passengers that also helped detain Jordan Neely? As of course, many people of color also participated in this entire tragic incident that took the life of Jordan Neely. Who are these other two guys that participated in this entire event? Well, we don't know. The media is not really focusing on them. They clearly
Nice
look like people
hand,
of
boss.
color. Does that have something to do with this
Nice
entire
hand.
incident? Who knows? But I think it's
Yeah,
fair to say
this is
that
the
race
only
politics
thing
has
that could
taken a
beat me.
priority seat in
Yeah, the
American
nuts.
legal systems
And the
over, of
king.
course, the actual incident and what
Nice
actually
hand.
happened here, as the New York Post is even reporting that the district attorney here that pressed the charges against this veteran actually decided to skip the step of a grand jury.
Wow.
As of course, this is a highly politicized case that is now mainstream, that the corporate media is salivating behind because of the optics here, while clearly ignoring a lot of the key
That was a
details
suck
here,
out,
like an
motherfucker.
elderly woman
Damn.
that, according to the New York Post, was
No,
a
it
part of this
wasn't.
entire
You just
incident
had
and
it.
is now,
Damn.
quote, praying for
We
this
were
U.S.
both hoping
Marine
for that
as she
ace or
details how
that
Jordan
last
Neely
heart.
was threatening the life of many individuals on that subway train. Now, exactly what happened on that specific day, what are the real
That's the
details
only
here, what
card that could
led
have
up
beat
to
me
this
too.
entire incident? Well, that's something that, of course, we are still waiting to find out. This, as a lot of political commentators are saying, that this one single U.S. Marine is being singled out and railroaded by a woke billionaire machine that is hell-bent on creating more criminality in major democratic areas, while, of course, punishing anyone who dares to defend themselves. This, as I think it's fair to say, the U.S. legal justice system is definitely becoming more and more political inside of the United States, especially in major democratic areas like
Whoa.
New York City, that, of course, politically go after presidential candidates, Congress members, who, of course, do not believe in the current establishment narratives, as political opponents to the current regime are infiltrated by FBI agents, spied on, and have every little personal detail about them released to the general public and the corporate media to make fun of. All of this while real crime that's affecting the average day American citizens is being ignored, obfuscated, and just excused, as of course the number one most dangerous threat to America is white supremacy, according to the President of the United States, which of course the official crime statistics and data do not really highlight that at all, even though that they are trumped up in many instances. If you look at the crime statistics, if you look at the data, yeah, they don't really highlight that, but that's a major talking point of the current regime in power, who said that this is the most dangerous threat to the nation during the Presidents of the United States address to Howard University this past Saturday in Washington, D.C. And with political ideologies being criminalized online, that's one reason out of many reasons we created the bestpoliticalshirts.com, where you could get amazing t-shirts like the one that I'm showing you on the screen right now with Waffle House Wendy with the tagline "Becoming Ungovernable." This shirt as well highlights also the current situation with our justice system. This other very accurate depiction of the FBI here doing what they're best at also, I think, fairly depicts the current situation in our modern day society, which you can express as an idea in the real world without any kind of censorship. They could censor a lot of the stuff online, especially when it comes to, of course, the algorithms and the social media, with the actual downranking of actual legitimate ideas that people just don't like. And none of that happens in the real life when you're at the grocery store, when you're at the bank, when you're walking down the street or in the park, or your dog. Yes, that's you, Atlas. When we walk down the street, people are forced to see political messages that, of course, provoke thought, while also at the same time showing individuals that they are not alone. And one of the easiest ways to do lazy form of activism is to just simply check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Pick yourself up a shirt. We also have beanies, we have accessories, we have yoga mats, we have swimsuits, we have socks with Joe Biden sniffing your feet. Yes, we got it. Plus a lot of other content that we cannot show you here on this particular platform. All of that is available to you on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. That also goes towards sustaining and growing this independent media operation, while allowing us to have our own independent platform to say and do what we want, which we think is going to be definitely important after Elon Musk just announced the person that is going to be taking over his role as the CEO of Twitter, and that person is Linda
God.
Yaccarino. That is, quote, going to build Twitter 2.0, or as many people are calling it, the Gulag 2.0, as Linda Yaccarino decided to start off her stint as the representation of Twitter by blocking a lot of political accounts that disagreed with her. As I think it's fair to say that this individual definitely is very establishment, to say the least, and has argued for some very counterintuitive and some would say even nefarious policies on social media that, of course, prioritize woke corporations over the individuals and free expression of speech. Now, what in the world is Elon Musk thinking, getting a fox to guard the hen house? Well, I don't know, but this is not a good idea for everyone else. But there might be a reason he's doing this that we're going to be talking about at the end of this video. This says Linda Yaccarino is also the chairperson of the World Economic Forum's Media Task Force, and according to the LinkedIn and their own website, still is an executive chair of the World Economic Forum. She was also the chairwoman of advertising at NBC Universal, another multinational megacorp conglomerate, and that, of course, is very effective at pushing establishment and government talking points to the general public. Now, why does this matter? Well, this matters for a very specific incident, as, of course, she has been on record many times taking the establishment line when it has been counterintuitive to the general public. As, of course, she is on record talking about the steps she's taking to, quote, fight social justice and equality issues, noting that her company is progressive, hiring 50% of women and 50% of people of color over actual people with merit, showing inherent racist policies that she has pushed forward previously before. She also doesn't seem to know what she's talking about fake news, as she previously talked about and insinuated how establishment media can't spread fake news as it can't come from allegedly trusted and traditional sources. She must have been absent during the Hunter Biden story from, the entirety of society, as she's also an individual that, of course, is calling for heavy moderation on Twitter so advertisers could essentially invest more money in Twitter, openly making these arguments in public forum and discussions with Elon Musk, and with her literally saying that multinational conglomerate corporations should moderate speech on Twitter. I think it's fair to say that it was a good time, but a very short time that we enjoyed Twitter. And I'm very happy I have lukeunfiltered.com, and I still haven't fully jumped on the Twitter bandwagon, and probably won't be jumping on the bandwagon from here. I was thinking about taking this video platform and just re-uploading everything to Twitter, but why should I do that now when the new guard is starting to look a lot like the old guard? As, of course, the policies of this new CEO have also promoted a lot of defunct, horrible ideas that have led to tremendously negative consequences for a lot of people medically, as she was a major pusher of the establishment line during the last 3 years, telling people to make questionable decisions about their health care without talking to their medical professionals. And again, everything that is lined up here specifically with the policies that she stands for, that she represented, represents a very troubling sign to what people have seen as the last bastion of free speech that now is in question, and makes me personally very happy that I never fully put my eggs in that entire basket. Now, Elon Musk also has some very questionable posts and decisions during the last 3 years as well, and he even responded to me personally when specifically describing a situation where I think it's fair to say that shadow bans will become normal again on Twitter, specifically before even making the announcement of the CEO kind of admitting that this would be the person by saying that, quote, this will not be the case. And again, we just got to take his word for it. And that's not a situation that breeds a lot of confidence, as, of course, a lot of the talking points supporting this major decision and the few influencers that are going along with it are saying that specifically, hey, she follows a lot of different accounts like Jack Posobiec, so that makes her somehow equal in the political playing field. And no. And Elon Musk has even alluded to this, being like, oh, look, she follows some political commentators on the right, so this definitely equals out her entire career in the establishment. And no, it doesn't. Following some accounts on Twitter does not equate towards dedicating your entire life to the World Economic Forum, NBC Universal, and, of course, the establishment, which I think is fair to say now has a front seat in moderating and deciding the future of one of the few social media platforms that a lot of people had hope in that wouldn't succumb to establishment pressures. Now, I think it's fair to say that I have my own bias when it comes to talking about this specific story, especially when it comes to my long history of getting demonetized, of getting censored, of getting my videos deleted time and time again. Just a couple days ago, I got a random video deleted. Why? No reason given. So sorry for being a little bit more emotionally involved here, but our lives, our careers, and the future of this nation depends on our ability to be able to speak freely together. And when you have someone who clearly prioritizes advertisers over individuals, over free speech, there we have a big problem. Now, why is Elon Musk doing this when he has even previously alluded to the World Economic Forum having some kind of satanic entities? Well, it could be because Elon Musk wants Twitter to be the X app of everything, and he wants establishment advertisers on the platform, and this is one way of bringing them on the platform by essentially somehow making it also theirs in the same process. Now, I think it's fair to say that with this new CEO of Twitter, that this company will definitely get a lot more advertisers. Now, is this a part of a larger plan, a larger scheme that somehow is 3D chess, that there's some kind of larger plan at work here to give everyone major corporate media advertising money? Well, who knows? But after my long, extensive career as an independent media creator and the censorship and the bullcrap that I had to face throughout the many years of doing this, I'm not going to be holding my breath. What do you think is the larger strategy and plan here? I think it's really the X app of everything. This is the marketing arm of Twitter. This is the way of Twitter getting all the establishment money. And with the way things are going socially and economically, some people are saying, yeah, that's a brilliant strategic move. I would actually disagree with that. But what do you think is going on here?
Yeah,
What do you think is behind this
asshole.
larger decision? What are the motives? What's the long-term trajectory? And did this make you lose faith in Twitter? Let me know down in the comment section below. I think it's also important to have honest, real discussions.
Thanks,
The
Gregory.
comment section is where we could still do that for now. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe and check
Thanks
out
for hanging
our
out,
own
man.
platform, lukeunfiltered.com, and I will see you there after this broadcast. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I'm saying love you. Stay tuned for more here on lukeunfiltered.com. It's wearechange.org, whatever. You know what I mean.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, we've tried to give CNN the benefit of the doubt at least a little bit after Chris Litch took over, and to a certain extent, they deserved credit in certain cases, but ultimately the conclusion at the end was that it just simply wasn't enough. It was too little too late. Here's the thing with CNN, you know, I kind of feel bad for Chris Litch. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's really trying to do the right thing, but the problem is the body is too infected. The CNN body is infected by Clinton operatives, and of course the woke mind virus. The CNN body has been so deeply corrupted, but at this point for Chris Litch, I think he's realizing that he's in over his head. CNN is in complete chaos, complete disarray as somewhat of a mutiny is taking place. It's not just Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the rest of the woke blue Twitter fanatics throwing a fit over the CNN town hall. The same thing is happening internally at the network. It feels as though the offices at CNN have become a giant daycare center. Chris Litch is the babysitter. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. The headline alone I'm going to show you here is satisfying to say the least. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So the CNN Trump town hall happened, and then, of course, the reaction from employees was as expected.
Why are you crying?
And now all hell is breaking loose. We've got this piece from Trending Politics. Report, CNN boss put, quote, the fear of God in Oliver Darcy after his meltdown over Trump town hall. CNN reporter Oliver Darcy was visibly shaken after being scolded by new boss Chris Litch, who characterized Darcy's coverage of the network's Trump town hall event as, quote, emotional. No, you don't say. Let's see if we can find a little snippet. Trump lied about the 2020 election. He took no responsibility for the January 6th insurrection that those very lies incited. Literally fake news to call it an insurrection, and he's implying that Trump was responsible even though the FBI found no evidence of that. And he mocked E. Jean Carroll's allegations of assault, which a jury found him liable for on Tuesday. Oh no, the horror. And CNN aired it all. On and on it went. It felt like 2016 all over again. It was Trump's unhinged social media feed brought to life on stage. And Collins was put in an uncomfortable position given the town hall was conducted in front of a Republican audience that applauded Trump, giving a sense of unintended endorsement to his shameful antics. Oh, emotional, you say? No way. A little bit later in the article, he writes, how Chris Litch and other CNN executives address the criticism in the coming days and weeks will be crucial. Will they defend what transpired at St. Anselm College, or will they express some regret? Oliver Darcy leading the mutiny, leading the charge against CNN executives. How will they respond, he says? Well, Chris Litch responded in kind. According to multiple sources, Oliver Darcy was summoned to a meeting with Litch due to his coverage of the event. Litch reportedly took issue with the framing of supposed backlash against the network, particularly from liberals. Darcy appeared to agree with those sentiments and was critical of the network in his Reliable Sources newsletter, which was released after the town hall. It can't be based on emotion, it's got to be based on fact, Litch reportedly told Darcy, according to a report from Fox News citing sources familiar with Litch's thinking. The source told Fox that multiple CNN staffers were appalled by Darcy's newsletter, which prompted Litch to call the meeting. It's hard to see how America was served by the spectacle of lies aired on CNN Wednesday evening, wrote Darcy in the newsletter. He went on to complain that Trump told lies, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we just covered some of the excerpts. I'm asking you not to be emotional, the source paraphrased what Litch said to Darcy. Puck News was first to report on the meeting, which reportedly took place after Litch stood by the Trump town hall on CNN's Thursday morning editorial call. Darcy stood by his work and pushed back on the emotional characterization one source with knowledge of the meeting said. But afterwards, two sources who heard about the meeting described him as visibly shaken. Quote, they put the fear of God into him, one source said. Puck News journalist Dylan Byers reported on Friday. It's going to be a real uphill battle for Chris Litch. He's either dealing with massive, overgrown adult babies that he needs to put in their place one by one, or that's just kind of an act that people like Oliver Darcy play when really they know exactly what they're doing. They're doing the Democrats' bidding and then acting like babies whenever they get backlash. Donald Trump defended himself against a ridiculous allegation. Oh, the horror. Donald Trump has a differing opinion on a couple issues and won't take responsibility for a, quote, insurrection that never happened. I mean, get out of here. That's not journalism. And it's crazy that it's even an argument. Oliver Darcy, of course, Brian Stelter's old henchman, literally writes a newsletter for, quote, reliable sources, a segment in writing that still exists at CNN without Brian Stelter at the helm. He's supposed to be a fact-based journalist and writes a segment, again, let's repeat it, called Reliable Sources. But when writing, it sounds like it's a personal diary. Oh, I was shocked and appalled by the Trump town hall. How could Donald Trump say these things? Nobody cares, man. You're literally like 40 years old with a full-grown beard, and you're writing a personal diary like a 12-year-old girl. Do journalism, because this ain't it. Chris Litch says, hey, maybe report the facts, maybe conduct real journalism and not this emotional crap. And Oliver Darcy tries to fight back. Supposedly at the end of the meeting, Oliver Darcy was shaken up or visibly shaken. They put the fear of God into him. And honestly, I hope that's the case because Chris Litch has got to start dealing with these CNN fake news journalists with a little bit more intensity. You got to get tough. I mean, they're literal adult babies. This will give you guys some more perspective. Here's a little segment from Joy-Ann Reid. She actually plays a recorded audio tape from Chris Litch.
I am aware that there has been people with opinions slash backlash, and that is absolutely expected. And I will say this as clearly as I possibly can. You do not have to like the former president's answers, but you can't say that we didn't get them. Caitlin pressed them again and again and made news. Made a lot.
You're dead on, buddy.
While we all may have been uncomfortable hearing people clapping, that was also an important part of the story because the people in that audience
I figured you were.
represent a large swath of
I
America.
figured you were.
And the mistake the media made in the past
I poked for
is
a long
ignoring
time,
that
brother.
those people exist.
He's talking to a group of adults, like actual adults, you know, people who pay their own bills.
Sometimes I got it right,
modern
sometimes I don't.
society. And he's saying things like, while we may have all been uncomfortable hearing people clapping, that's also an important part of the story because people in that
What did I
audience
just
represent a
check
large swath of America. And the mistake the media made in the past is ignoring that those people exist. He's literally talking to a group of adults. Again, let's reiterate that. And starting his sentence off with, well, I know it may have been uncomfortable to hear people clapping. I mean, trigger warning, people clapped at things that Donald Trump said. Oh no, the sheer horror. How will humanity ever recover? These are not serious human beings, yet they lead the mainstream discussion on these issues. These are people who literally cannot
Yeah, that's
mentally
great.
cope with the fact that Donald Trump exists and the fact that people have differing political opinions. They cannot mentally accept or cope with the idea of a presidential candidate disagreeing with their narratives. And again, I don't know if Chris Litch is going to be able to change it. I mean, to even start off the sentence by validating this idea of being uncomfortable with hearing people clapping for things that you disagree with is so insane to me. It's so crazy. You know, he's been tasked with rebranding the network. You're going to have to get a little serious here, and there's going to have to be a culture shift. It's also nice to see that some of the outrage directed at Oliver Darcy and his emotional nonsense isn't just coming from Chris Litch, but actually it was reported to him by people working at CNN. There needs to be a cultural shift from the inside, and the only way that happens is for actual journalists and people who are reporting on the truth, people who aren't injecting emotion and opinion into their reporting, start speaking up and start applying actual journalistic standards, not only to themselves, but to their environment and the employees that they work with, their colleagues rather. You know, I give Chris Litch a little bit of credit, but at the same time, Oliver Darcy should be fired. Jake Tapper should be gone as well. Anderson Cooper. What they did after the town hall was inexcusable and should absolutely be a fireable offense when working at a network like CNN. If CNN is to be taken seriously as engaging in real journalism, their behavior should be absolutely inexcusable, unacceptable. They should be gone, period. And until that's the standard, well, of course, we know it's never going to end. So we'll have to see where it goes. We'll have to see if Chris Litch ever ends
CNN's
up,
best
what's the
chance
way
is
that I
to
could
get
say it? What's the least
Trump
offensive
elected
way that I
again.
could say this?
It's the
We'll
only
have to
way
see if
there'll
he actually
be
grows from here
anything.
moving forward. Putting the fear
Will
of God
matter.
into Oliver Darcy is a decent step
Then they'll
one,
be able
but
to
I'd like to
just
see more.
attack
That's
him
basically the
constantly.
whole point of the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course,
I'm
you know
not
we'd
a
love to
huge
have you
Trump
here,
fan
folks.
either.
Like usual, I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.
No, fuck no. Nope. Okay. Nope. We're fucked. What is this?
Hi, I'm Dr. Philip Macmillan, and thank you very much for joining me. As usual, I am trying to keep you updated with the latest information around the COVID-19 pandemic and what is likely to occur in the near future. Well, for anyone who has been following me, I've always been focused on the fact that severe COVID-19 is an autoimmune disease, a viral mediated autoimmune disease. And as such, I've been able to use that principle and that extrapolation to
But yeah, it started already.
where
I
the
mean,
pandemic
hang
and
on.
critically,
Let me make
where
sure.
the complications around our
What is
actions in
this?
the
Check.
pandemic are likely to occur.
Let me check
And as
the
such,
managed
everything I
clubs.
share will be following that line of thinking. And so today, I'm sharing with you the unbelievable
Somebody
fact
already accepted you.
that the first full autopsy on a COVID vaccinated death has
You have to just
published. Let me repeat that. The first full autopsy has just been published. Now, think about this. We have delivered about 13 billion doses of a vaccine, a novel virus, a novel vaccine technology.
Yeah, you're in here.
And no
Somebody
one
accepted
is
it already.
interested in trying to
Well, you've been here since.
what happens at autopsy level. So
Oh
just to
yeah,
put it
today.
in
Okay,
context,
cool.
autopsy
All right, yeah, you're in
is the
here.
equivalent
You'll be available for the next one.
of
This one's been going on too long for you to get in.
of an audit.
So just hang
So
tight.
big companies have to have their accounts audited, And they are then made sure that what they are saying
Oh, you're
about
in. You did get in. Holy shit.
financials, in terms of their assets, this is accurate
You're
based
in.
on an audit. And it's a requirement in the financial world.
You'll be in the next
An
10.
autopsy is equivalent in the medical world because it's an objective analysis of exactly what is happening in the body at a histological level. That means
Man,
using
this
a
game is going for a
microscope
while. It's 60
first
minutes.
external
That's what it was said
examination,
at.
using a
So.
microscope to look at the tissues and to see exactly what is happening in the tissues. Without autopsy, you have no audit.
What the fuck?
You have no
What do you
idea what is happening.
Fuck you, man.
And the principle is simple.
Take that shit.
You cannot follow the science without autopsy. And so a few months ago, I had the pleasure of speaking to a pathologist, and it's a fascinating discussion. You have to listen to it. The link is below. And it was about the fact that I was saying, do we need to
You're in
mandate
Oklahoma.
autopsies? Because we need to know what's going on. How can we know what is happening if we are not looking objectively as
You're
to
playing with
what is
some decent
occurring
players,
in
so
terms of pathology
luck.
in the body? Well, it seems as though no one is interested, which is absolutely shocking. So let's look at exactly what has happened. So this is just today that I was looking for this, because just about a year ago, just a little bit over a year ago, I did my first
Let's talk real
series
quick about the
on
mentality
vaccinated.
of conservative YouTuber, popular conservative YouTuber, Anthony Brian Logan. I don't have anything personal against this guy, but I do want to talk about his bootlicking mentality, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about in a second. But I think it's important to note that his YouTube channel survives by, and he's accumulated quite a large audience. He's almost at 1 million subscribers now on his YouTube channel alone. I'm sure he has a big presence on Facebook and all the other social media platforms, but it's important to point out that he's constantly outing the left and talking about how bad liberals are. Well, liberals and conservatives have the same thing in common. They struggle from the same mental cancer of believing that government is somehow legitimate. Remember, government is made up of two Latin words, guberno and mentis. Guberno means to control, and mentis means the mind. It's control the mind, or mind control. Practically lived out, government is the idea of certain individuals, like an individual or a group of individuals, thinking that they have the right to rule others and believing that you have the obligation to obey their rulership, or you should be, in the minds of the conservatives or liberals, be rightly punished. So they make the rules for the rest of us. If we don't follow them, then they believe that we should be punished. And that is the mental cancer that both liberals and conservatives, the left and the right, suffer from. So somebody put out a tweet today. This USB Chief Patrol Agent, which is El Centro Sector, or ELC, is one of 20 Border Patrol regions, which as a whole encompasses the entirety of the United States. And then he says, we protect this nation 24/7. You protect the nation with what? Oh, that's right. Government sanctioned, government funded violence. And so this person put out this tweet. It's time for criminals to pay up. Agents arrested 2 migrants. That's what the agents say. Maybe they weren't even migrants. During a vehicle stop on I-40 near Barstow, California. During the stop, agents found $49,000, which were proceeds from illicit activity. So we're just supposed to take their word for it. When will criminals learn that it doesn't pay to break the law in El Centro Sector? And then this person said, so you robbed them. And that's exactly what happened. They found the cash. They ascribed it to some illicit activity. And so they used that as the justification to steal the product of somebody's time and laboring energies. And Anthony Brian Logan says, yes, and that's fine. So it's fine for the government to steal, according to Anthony Brian Logan. And by the way, Anthony, if you're watching this video, the left thinks the same thing. The left believes it's okay for the government to steal from you. But what is stealing? Stealing is wrong. Stealing is immorality. And it doesn't matter who does it. It doesn't matter if a politician does it. It doesn't matter if a president does it. It doesn't matter if law enforcement does it. Doesn't matter if you do it. If you take something that doesn't belong to you, it's theft. And the government specializes in theft. So Donnie says, why do you think it's okay for the government to commit crimes? And Anthony Brian Logan responds, civil asset forfeiture is not illegal, although you may not like it. Well, there are a lot of things that have been legal. Slavery was legal. The Holocaust was legal. Segregation was legal. Does that make it right? Does legality equal morality? Does illegality equal immorality? This is where government has a degrading effect on the brain and on the heart. Belief in government creates an individual who is demoralized, dehumanized, because you're actually asking for government to commit immoral acts to make you feel safer or to make you feel like, hey, it's going to make the land more prosperous. But the bottom line is you're requesting that agents of government do bad things on your behalf. Back to Anthony Brian Logan again. Civil asset forfeiture is not illegal, although you may not like it. This person says slavery was once legal, whether anyone liked it or not. Check your moral compass. And I say amen. To which Anthony Brian Logan responded, as you tweet me from your sweatshop phone, save the morality argument. He has no moral compass. People who believe like this, people who believe in the legitimacy of government, people who buy into politics, which is nothing more, nothing less than the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to dupe average people into accepting and even demanding the change of their own enslavement. People who buy into the government and politics have clearly been demoralized, as exemplified by this statement right here from Anthony Brian Logan. He will go out of his way to defend criminality as long as the government does it. I responded back, Anthony, and I really want a response from you, Anthony. I mean, don't use this argumentation that doesn't address the actual issue. I really want answers from you. So I said, Anthony, are you really saying that legality trumps morality? Why would you applaud government robbery and the violation of individuals and then seek comfort by launching an argument about another human rights violation, sweatshops, where the poor are exploited? Exploiting people is wrong. Manipulating people is wrong. Stealing from people is wrong. It doesn't matter if you call yourself government or not. Dan Berman says, so you're defending slavery too? I'm going to make this video short, but I want to show you this is who Anthony Brian Logan is. This is what he and all conservatives and all liberals are about. They are about defending the government. If the government says, yeah, this was used in the illicit drug trade, well, guess who else is involved in the illicit drug trade? The FBI, the CIA, the ATF, government. So you've got the evil cartel of government telling you that, yeah, this was used in illicit drug activity or some other kind of activity. What happened to the free market? The government is always there to interfere with the free market. Government is not eloquence. It's not reason. It is, like George Washington said, force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. So leave your thoughts in the comment section here. I really want to know what you guys have to say about this.
Oh, you disconnected.
Base? Does legality truly equal morality? Does illegality equal immorality? Leave your thoughts. I want to hear it. If you haven't done so already, subscribe or follow. Make sure you like this video, share this video, and leave a comment because it really helps.
Why is everybody disconnecting?
Algorithmic suppression. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, isn't that crazy? How it all comes full circle. The great replacement theory. Left-wingers, Democrats called it a right-wing conspiracy theory pushed by Tucker Carlson. Ooh, real spooky stuff. Media Matters putting together real scary Fox News compilations.
AOC and the gang are eager to replace native-born Americans and lawful immigrants with foreigners who came here illegal.
Of course, we're not working to import as many new citizens as we can into the United States to replace all the disobedient ones who didn't vote for us. We've never seen demographic change like this. It's roughly the equivalent of a brand new city of Chicago every year. A city populated entirely by poor people with limited education who can't speak English.
These are their new voters, and it is a terrifying prospect. If we let everybody just free flow over our southern border, guys, we lose our country. It is a very, very scary thing we've seen going on.
All you have to do is bring in new voters. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to be millions of new people that come in that, again, by the way, haven't been vetted, we haven't looked at, that have just walked across the border. And again, I think it's a tragedy.
Trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. That's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it. That's true.
Crazy they told you. Of course that's not happening. Even though here's CNN's Caitlin Collins back when she worked at Fox, basically outlining the whole thing and actually putting George Soros at the top.
From our nation's capital. Caitlin, what does that mean? What's George Soros trying to do with the immigration crisis?
Good morning. Okay, so George Soros is this foreign-born left-wing guy who essentially wants to change the nature of our country. And in his data dump, one of the memos was about the refugee crisis. And they made 3 points. They think that they've been successful at influencing immigration policy across the world. They think that the refugee crisis is an opportunity to continue doing so. And I think the refugee crisis is the new normal. And George Soros is this guy who is a staunch advocate for open borders. He wants people to be able to go wherever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason. And for him, he sees this immigration policy, this crisis, as a vehicle to further his immigration agenda.
Crazy, wacky stuff. Don't pay attention to those evil right-wing racists and their conspiracy theories. Well, it's only a conspiracy theory until it's obvious, as clear as day, until you can see it. Then all of a sudden it becomes a major concern now, doesn't it?
All right,
That's
boss,
exactly
let's
what's
see
happening.
this.
Democrat voters, this time specifically in Chicago, are hit with a real rude awakening recently. I guess we could call it the reality of Democrat policies, or the reality of Joe Biden policies. Now, all of a sudden, Democrat voters are real concerned about uncontrolled illegal immigration. We're building up on the story that we covered yesterday. Concerned residents, concerned Democrat residents. Chicago's South Shore. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. All right, folks, take a look at this from the Daily Mail. Quote, "We need to be taken care of first." Chicago community where 97% voted for Biden react furiously after finding out that 500 migrants are heading their way, as some claim that they have been bumped off of
357. Have
housing
a good
waiting
night,
lists.
buddy.
Furious Chicago residents who overwhelmingly voted for President Biden during the last election have angrily spoken out against the hundreds of migrants
They're
who
triple
brought to
money
the area that
winner.
are knocking longtime residents off of housing
Everybody's
waiting
here,
lists.
and
Let's
I'll
take a
log
look at
out
what
here
some of
like
these
at the
residents
last
had to say.
virtual second.
Resources that have
I
not
think.
come to us. Now you want
Very
to
close to the end.
for people who never lived here
Yeah,
before,
I know.
and we need to be taken
But-
care of first and foremost before anything else happens here.
Why would any leader put our black communities already riddled with crime at further risk by placing unvetted non-taxpayers steps away from our seniors, our children, and our homes we've worked so hard on our own to secure?
We are at war, people. Our communities are at war. They are violating our communities, and we asking that we across the country, and we asking and we're demanding for office of Black America, or whatever you want to call it, to deal with issues like this.
I did get placed on a wait list, but I was told that the immigrants were taking priority. See, that's a story that a lot of people don't know, and it hurt me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I understand we need to be humanitarian, but these people that my participants are third and fourth generation Chicagoans, born, bred, fed, and raised here. My grandmother, Mayrella Carrington, rest in peace, always said, Craig, charity starts at home first, and then it go abroad.
Politically, having over 500 people in our community would completely wipe out any interest we have.
Many of these migrants have been dumped in neighborhoods without a plan in place to monitor and house them long term.
I'm not selling nothing. And I keep telling people, we don't have to move. If you sell, they gonna come in. If we don't sell, we gotta stand strong.
This is the highest, and I mean highest, level of hypocrisy. These are the same residents who 97% of which voted for Joe Biden and his open border policies. They voted against Donald Trump because Donald Trump was a terrible, evil racist for his anti-immigration policies. How racist it is to say, make America great again. America was never great. You know, the typical thing we hear from Biden voters. Now, all of a sudden, it seems like those same Democrat voters are basically pushing a similar message, a message that I've heard before. It sounds like a certain political slogan, a political catchphrase that's been popularized recently. We need to be taken care of first, they say. Sounds a whole lot like America first, rather than refugees and the rest of the world's interest, the rest of the world's poor, ahead of your own citizens. I don't get the outrage. I don't get the frustration. You literally voted for this. I mean, if anything, these are the exact communities that should be taking in these migrants. They're the same communities that voted for it. Republican voters, Republican states, Republican cities expressed their democratic will, and their will was to enforce border laws and to prioritize American citizens above all else. And look, I know these people are frustrated, and trust me, I feel for them, but we've been trying to warn you for a very long time. I've been screaming into this microphone, not because I'm a terrible, evil, conservative racist, but because I care for you and your interests, and especially your economic interests. You didn't listen. You didn't heed the warning. You fell for all the BS. You fell for all the propaganda. Now, you know what? In life, this is the way that it works. You got to deal with the consequences of your actions. And clearly there are consequences here that have to be reckoned with. Elections, frankly, should carry consequences. And they should absolutely carry consequences
because of my
people
smoky
who
time.
vote for the policy. You can't just vote for open borders and then shove the whole problem at Texas's doorstep. That's why, for me, shipping illegal migrants to Democrat cities and states has always been legitimate policy and not a political stunt, as many claim it to be. You can't vote for doors, fences, and locks to be illegal on personal property, and then only impose those laws on your neighbors while you live in a fortress at the corner of the street. But you know, it's sad because even with everything that I just said, we know what's going to continue to happen. The actual effect of Democrat policies seems to have little to no effect on voting patterns in these cities. Going into the next election cycle, what do you think is going to happen in this Chicago district? Well, they're probably going to vote for Joe Biden or literally any Democrat at the exact same percentage, 97%, maybe, just maybe, 95% instead of 97. You know, a real big political shift, but chances are that's exactly what's going to happen. It's honestly what always happens. Democrat voters voting for Democrat politicians, creating the same problems that Democrats are voting for them to solve. Of course, there's nothing new. Nothing here is going to change. You know, the logical response here from your average Democrat would probably be, hey, maybe this policy is dumb. Maybe economically it doesn't make sense and maybe it's hurting us. Maybe we should stop, stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help.
But no, of course not. The answer to this problem for Democrats is what it always is. More federal funding, more taxpayer dollars, more subsidies, more free And so we have what is known as the endless blue voter loop. There's no massive revelation or massive political shift here, but I guess it is kind of entertaining and kind of funny to see Democrats all of a sudden essentially sounding like Donald Trump. America first, I guess. It's pretty much what they're saying. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Got the big one. Got the bigger full house. Sorry, Outlaw. Yeah. Me and Boss. I'm going to try and find something at the same time here. Okay. Ben, I'm interested now. Yeah, shit.
Welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. Several people have asked for my reaction to this body cam footage from Florida that was originally posted by Body Cam Watch. I'll post the video link in the description. Sometimes it's interesting to go through some of these videos and see if the majority of the people commenting are right or are they wrong legally. There is an interesting legal issue that pops up here involving law enforcement at somebody's home, what they can do and what they can't do. Let's go through it.
What's going on?
So here, as is often the case in police interactions, there is an underlying custody dispute between a man and a woman. And that's what happened here. This woman was apparently repeatedly calling 911 and alleging that her 15-year-old son had been kidnapped by the father.
Fuck! I'm not trying to. This is fucked up. I talked to you under your eyelashes. You're fucked up. 2 days ago, I talked to her. 2 days ago? I don't know.
Work 2 days ago.
Well, I'm stopping. I'm gonna go in I'm gonna change. Yeah, I talked to you. I don't know you. I've never spoken to you. 2 days ago. I can pull up my fucking
We're not
computer.
working.
Well, I can show you 2 days ago. Maybe she was not, but she's the one that responded. I did not respond, ma'am. I've never been here.
I can promise you, she wasn't there 2 days ago.
I don't. A liar. She might forget. It's okay. I don't listen. It's okay. But I don't need this shit right now. I am. For a reason.
What is your name?
Hold on.
Apparently, this woman is upset about a perceived lack of response by law enforcement to her complaints. She does appear to be the resident at this house. The cops are standing within the curtilage of the home. She comes outside, and the description in the video and in some of the comments say that she's being immediately aggressive towards law enforcement. I don't know if I would agree with that. She does appear to be upset. She appears to be distraught. But you can see she goes back into her house. The cops are standing within the curtilage of her home. There's no allegation that I've seen so far that she may have committed any crime. She just is a potential victim. There could be some concern that she may be in some distress. Let's continue.
Do you need another eye to open up so you can see? Yeah, I'm
Should you be
trying.
wearing some special stuff?
No, I need some more because I'm hurt.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here and guess what sort of surgery it was that this woman had. As you can see, the cops potentially are worried, like, what is this woman on something? And they sort of ask questions. I think at this point, this is still a consensual encounter between the homeowner and law enforcement. Let's see where it goes. Oh, and by the way, a consensual encounter means that it is an encounter that's taking place with the consent of both parties. So therefore, the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment, has not been implicated yet. Not until somebody is being forcibly detained.
You guys can go. Don't call the police. I don't want you.
I think this is.
I'm going to submit.
Yeah.
Push a little button. I talked to you 2 days ago. No, ma'am, you did I not. told you everything, but I needed help with. No, ma'am, you did did not not. tell me what is it worth? If you want to tell me what you need help with. Oh,
Come
no.
on, come on,
Please,
come on,
no.
come on,
No, stop me. Just have a surgery, please.
Okay, let's talk.
Please.
Let's talk.
Please.
Let's talk.
Okay,
Don't
we
stop.
can
Let's
talk.
just not
Don't
play
talk.
games over and over again.
Don't touch me.
Okay?
Please don't touch
You're not going to run back in the house and slam the door over and over again. Your dogs are already outside.
Okay, now everything has changed. As of the moment when that police officer reached out and grabbed the woman physically, stopped her from going back inside her home, the circumstances have changed. Now, the U.S. Constitution has been implicated. The Fourth Amendment has been implicated. At this point, this woman is no longer free to go back inside her home. She is being forcibly detained by law enforcement. Here is the most important thing, is where is this occurring? If this is occurring in the Kroger parking lot or inside Walmart,
That was
is
badass,
a
that karate
legal
kick, man.
analysis than if it's occurring where it's
Whoa.
actually occurring here. Let's proceed just a little bit more with the footage, and then I'll explain that.
You don't have to fucking push me like that again. Are you kidding me? I just
You're
had
clearly going through some sort of distress here.
Yeah, I am. I just had a fucking surgery. I have not seen my son in a fucking month.
Why haven't you seen your child?
I'm dealing with my fucking attorney. It has nothing to do with that. But
So it's a child.
don't ever fucking touch me again. Get the fuck away from me. And you too. I just can't deal with this. I can't. You're not invited. I already have everything. No, it's not funny.
The last time we were out here was April, ma'am.
It's okay. That's fine. I don't call citizen. I just need to, like, I'm not.
What medications do you take?
I don't.
You don't?
I'm dealing with my son.
Have you ever taken medication?
I have not seen my son in a month. Okay.
Have you been drinking today?
No, not at all. I'm fucking working. I'm dealing with fucking work. I'm dealing with my fucking son. My son's dad. I will not even give him a fucking phone. He came back to his house so I can call him.
How old is your son?
He's 15.
Okay.
Aren't cops always complaining that they don't want to be social workers? You know, the first thing that pops in my head here is, you know, once this woman's being detained, what is necessary for law enforcement to justify that detention? Well, there has to be reasonable suspicion that some crime has been committed and that this individual may have been the person who committed that crime. So here, if you stop back and think about it, like, wait a minute, why are they there? What crime may have potentially been committed? I think at this point, it's clear this woman, there's something wrong with her, okay? She hasn't seen her son in what she said a month, and it was a kidnapping call. So clearly this is a family court issue that is very traumatic to her. She's very distraught, possibly on something, but there's no like crime in progress here. There was no actual kidnapping. So why are all these cops standing around talking with this woman and just dealing with this drama? They don't want to be social workers, right? So what actually is going on here? So there could be now a concern that this is somebody who's having some sort of health episode and may need help. But at the same time, they're not the social workers, right? So this woman called police, reported was potentially a non-crime. Now they're standing on her property. She clearly is not happy with them. Why not just leave? Like, why are you there?
I know you're asking. It's okay. I wasn't trying to. Okay. I can't. It's because my son is kidnapped, okay? I have not seen my son in a month, okay?
I'm just trying to understand what's
That's
going
fine.
on.
That's fine.
Okay, who kidnapped your son?
My ex-husband. His name is Clay Butler. Clay, ClayButler.
Okay.
He
And
does this all the time.
where is he now?
In Orlando.
Okay. And why are you saying that he's been kidnapped? Do you guys have like a court agreement or?
Oh,
A minute ago, you were saying that you were dealing with the court process. Is that like he
I
has
have
the
a question.
trial waiting for that?
Are you asking me questions or is he now? Because for 1 second, I'm going to stop and I'm going to get a recording. Hold on.
Do not.
Oh, no, don't push me that hard.
Do
I
not.
need to get a recording. Don't ever fucking touch me like this again. You touched me hard. I want a phone for a question.
You're not going to keep putting your hands in my face.
I'm not going to. I want to get a phone. No, I'm not. He's hurting
right now.
me.
Who's hurting you?
He just did over here.
You'll notice that the female officer is now standing in the woman's doorway, blocking her from re-entering her house. Again, a second time, a second police officer places hands on her pretty aggressively. And what's happening? That's escalating the situation. At some point, police officers really should stop and think, like, what legal basis, what legal justification do I have for this interaction that's happening right now? Because I'm on this woman's property, I'm within the curtilage of her property, which according to the U.S. Supreme Court is pretty much the same as being inside her house. And she's being sort of hostile towards me, like she doesn't want me there. What right do I have to put my hands on her to stop her from going back inside her home? Do I have an arrest warrant? No. Do I have a search warrant? No. Do I have probable cause to arrest her? Well, even if I do, what's the problem? Well, I'm basically inside her house. I'm in her doorway. What do police officers need to arrest somebody inside their home? They need an arrest warrant. Do they have an arrest warrant? No. So even if they observe somebody inside their home committing a crime and they have probable cause, that's not the same thing as being in the Kroger parking lot. The entire legal justification changes. Let's continue.
Okay. You pushed me hard. I was talking to you.
Back up, and you won't get pushed again. Back up.
I'm talking to. Don't talk to me like that, and don't talk to me again. Oh, because you have authority, because you have eyelashes. Let's go talk about your backup.
Yes,
Let's go find who you are. And you're a
My name is Deputy DeLeon with the Indian River County Sheriff's Office.
I'm sure.
That is exactly who I am.
Okay, thank you so
and
much.
if you run up on me one more time, you're gonna get pushed a lot harder.
By
Do you
the way,
understand?
I never touched you.
Okay.
By the way,
do you want
to
to figure out what's going on with your son or not?
Twice?
Do you need help figuring out what's going on with your son?
Understand?
Do you need help?
Back up your shit right now.
Ma'am.
Do you
Do
understand?
you need help with your son or not?
Do you want to help to understand? Yeah, I want 4 more cops out here right now because neither one of you are doing this, and don't ever touch me.
You're too close. If I can touch you, that means you're too close.
I know. I was walking around my house.
So
you're not welcome.
Do you
can
need
go.
help with your son or not?
So she said, "You're not welcome. You can go." She's asking this police officer to leave the curtilage of her residence. The police officer is not doing that. Now, what is necessary, legally speaking, to justify this? I think at this point, if this officer has a concern that this woman is suffering some sort of health emergency, that could do it. This is, you have just 2 basic exceptions to the warrant requirement. One is consent, which clearly, if given at some point, has now been revoked. She's asked her to leave. What's the other exception? That is exigent circumstances. So there's a bunch of case law on what exigent circumstances are and what they are not. So here, that is the legal issue that I would say is, does she have, does it appear to this police officer there's some sort of emergency occurring that is this woman is requiring help? But her words don't really corroborate that or support that, because what does she say? She says, "Do you want help with your original call with your 15-year-old or not?"
No, you guys can go.
So if you call back again, it's us that's coming out here.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
So if you don't need our help, don't call us.
Well, guess what? I will call because.
Okay. Well, if you call, it's us coming out. Okay.
Then do your
ma'am. If you call, it's us coming out.
Ready? Then do your fucking job. Touch me again. Touch me again. Stop, please. Stop touching me. I just got a fucking surgery, and you're fucking touching me when I fucking can't fucking feel anything. Don't fucking touch me. You're touching me. You suck.
Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
I have a question for you. Can I have all my shit back? Just like I will never hurt somebody. Just please let me go so I can talk to somebody.
I think that you need to talk to somebody too. And,
I always talk to somebody. I don't fucking lie about shit. It's hurting.
Nicole, are you okay?
So apparently there was a struggle as they tried to put her into the back of the police car, and she kicked the female cop right in the face.
Sure?
Yeah. I'm not reading right.
No, I don't think so.
I'm good.
Okay.
I just gotta breathe.
I know. It's okay. I understand. It's okay.
Now you just got a felony
For what?
for kicking her in the face.
I never kicked her in the face.
You did. I watched you do it.
Okay, so she apparently afterwards was charged with a felony count of battery on an officer. The information from Body Cam Watch in the description says that she eventually pled no contest. I don't know if that was to that or to a lesser included. I mean, that would be pretty bad to plead to felony battery on an officer when there are lesser options that most defense lawyers would be able to get, especially in light of the fact that there does appear to me to be a legitimate suppression issue here. And that's the fact that the police officers were within the curtilage of her home when all this occurred, and she had asked at least one of the officers to leave, if not arguably all of them. If you look at a lot of the comments on the video, they almost all are supportive of the officers and very critical, obviously, of this woman. And that's sort of what you deal with civil rights issues, is you have the common sense take that a lot of these people have, such as, I can't imagine why she doesn't have custody of her kid, or she's definitely proving the point of why the son should stay with his father, or she's a real peach, mad respect for the officer who took a kick to the face without losing her temper. But then you also have the the legal analysis side of things is that, well, still we have the government making a warrantless arrest of somebody right at their front door. And so have they met the constitutional burden to be able to do that lawfully? Because just because you don't like this woman because of the way she's acting, that shouldn't play into it, because if you deny constitutional rights to her, they're not going to be around for you. Freedom is scary. That's why you have to allow freedom for people that you dislike or people that you think are assholes. You know, when assholes collide, that is not a constitutional analysis. That being said, she gave them enough gray area to convict herself here, because yeah, she was illegally detained in my opinion, but then she came out and sort of started a second incident where she's sort of charging at this officer. So I can see why it did end in a conviction. But the end point here is two things. One is that police officers, if they don't want to be social workers, then don't be social workers. Just because you got called doesn't mean you have to hang around with this woman. All right, there's no crime being committed, leave. Secondly, it's very important to remember the distinction of, are you in a Kroger parking lot or are you on somebody's front doorstep? And if you're on somebody's front doorstep, remember, a warrant is required. Just because you have probable cause, that doesn't mean you can arrest somebody inside their house unless you have exigent circumstances. And that may have been the case here given the way the woman was acting. That's my take on it anyways. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy looking at these sorts of interactions between the government and the peasants and analyzing the constitutional law involved, then subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it.
His stuff's good. Missed a couple of his.
I'll go right now, sir. Am I free to go?
No, you're not free to go.
Why are you detaining me?
Because you're taking pictures and looking in people's vehicles.
Is that illegal?
Police officers do not get to detain somebody forcibly anytime they interact with that person. That's just not the way it works. Even though they get a call, there still must be, under the Constitution, reasonable suspicion in order to detain that person. Take a look at this footage that was submitted to me, and it comes out of Burleson, Texas.
Officer White, how's it going? Am I free to go?
No, not at this moment. You are not free to go, sir.
So this guy was in a Kroger parking lot, and he had a particular interest in how many of the vehicles did not have the front license plate on their car, which is apparently required in Texas. And so he's filming what he can see in a public place, in a public parking lot, committing no crime. Somebody calls the cops and says there's a suspicious looking guy who's filming vehicles in the Kroger parking lot.
Honestly, you're making it more complicated than it needs to be.
Am I free to go?
Yeah. He does play a pretty good banjo.
Free to go? Am I free to go?
Or if you would, double check the and see if they want you out here.
Am I free to go, sir? Why not?
Because you're in question for taking pictures of
I'm not answering any questions.
We have a lot of BMPs in the area, okay?
Okay. Have I done anything illegal?
No, nobody's saying that you have done anything.
Am I free to go?
You were called on because you were taking pictures and looking inside of cars.
That
is
illegal?
odd. No, that's not illegal.
Am
But
I
it
free to
is,
go?
it is odd, and it makes people think that you're doing something that you're not supposed to do.
Am I free to go?
All right, so there's been a Karen call, and the cops show up. And this officer acknowledges that there's not even an allegation that this guy had committed any crime. Remember, freedom is scary. Just because some Karen gets scared, that doesn't mean that reasonable suspicion exists to forcibly detain this individual. He's refusing to answer questions. Note that he has not been asked for his ID yet.
When can I go? Do I need to call my lawyer?
No, you don't need to call your lawyer. We're just going to double check with Kroger and see if they want you out here taking pictures.
Well, if they want to tell me to leave, I'll leave.
That's what we're going to double check and make
I'm
sure.
ready to leave. Can I go?
Where are you going?
I'm going to
go to my car. Can I go? Why are you going to your car now? You were just here taking photographs. I don't answer questions. Am I ready to go? Well, you are answering questions. Just answering my questions. Can I go, please, sir? No, you're in a temporary. Am I under arrest? You are in a temporary detention. Am I under arrest? You're not. I'm not sure what hour I'm on. You'll see my picture. Am I under arrest?
At this point, it's pretty clear that an investigative detention is taking place. Therefore, the Fourth Amendment is triggered, and there must be reasonable suspicion that some crime has been committed by this individual.
Am I under arrest? No, you're not. You're in a temporary detention. Am I free to go? No, you're not. You're not free to go. Please call your sergeant. We're gonna double check with Kroger and see if they want you out here taking pictures of people. I'll go as soon as they tell me to go. No one's told me to leave. That's what we're gonna do. I'll go right now, sir. Am I free to go? No, you're not free to go. Why are you detaining me? Because you're taking pictures and looking at people's vehicles. Is that illegal?
And one thing I'll point out here is the suspicion that is brought up and that you'll see in this video is, well, it's suspicious that he's videotaping and looking at people's cars in a parking lot. And so if this is reasonable suspicion of criminal behavior, let us just point out that in so many criminal cases, police officers argue, or their lawyers argue, the prosecutors argue, that no warrant is required to obtain information that is visible to the naked eye in a public place. I mean, cops all the time search our license plate information. They have license plate readers. But when a citizen does it, all of a sudden, well, that's suspicion of criminal conduct. But first, I'd like to thank this video's sponsor, Guardio. Protecting yourself online is crucial. We live in times when scams are so sophisticated that even 2FA doesn't seem to keep our information safe anymore, safeguarding your sensitive data from being compromised by dangerous online threats. And the way I achieve this is easy. It's using a safe browser extension called Guardio. Guardio's cybersecurity made easy. Guardio works seamlessly in the background and steps right in when it detects threats, such as ad phishing attempts, malware, and detects and disables any malicious extension, even if it's already on your browser. I have it installed on my browser and automatically and safely remove the ones that could potentially be harmful. Guardio also blocks harmful sites, cleans up unwanted notifications, prevents data breaches, and so much more. Join over 1 million satisfied users around the world that trust Guardio to provide them with a secure digital environment today. Installing it's simple and easy. It takes only 30 seconds. And after installing it, you'll get a free security scan that will tell you if you're already at risk. From there, you can continue to a 7-day trial to remove existing threats and enable real-time protection. And if you go through my link, guard.io/TCRL, you'll also get 20% off. Get Guardio now and be protected. Oh, and one Guardio account covers 5 family members, so you can keep your family safe as well. Go to guard.io/TCRL and keep scams and scammers away from you and your family for good.
Have I broken the law? Officer Denbo, have I broken the law? Negative, he's not. I think. You haven't asked me for my ID. Am I free to go? You're not answering any questions. Why would I think you're going to give me your ID? The Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. Am I free to go? Nobody's running Jedi mind tricks, bro. Am I free to go? No, you're not. Am I under arrest? You're under a temporary detention. That means under arrest? That you are not free to go. Am I free to go? Am I under arrest? Is this your sergeant? My sergeant coming down here. He's coming. Am I free to go?
Officer Wyatt, how's it going?
Am I free to go?
No, not at this moment. You are not free to go, sir.
Am I under arrest?
You're not under arrest. You are detained, okay?
Am I free to go?
No, sir, you are not. We're conducting an investigation, okay? So that's what's going on here. I'm not sure if my partner here has informed you of that.
I don't answer any questions. Am I free to go?
Okay, no, sir, you are not free to go.
Am I under arrest?
No, sir, you're not under arrest at this point. However, you are required to identify yourself. We are conducting
Would you like my identification?
Yes, please.
This is the first time it's been asked.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, sir.
Am I free to go?
No, sir, you are not.
Am I under arrest?
No, sir.
Have I broken any laws?
Sir, we're conducting an investigation about some suspicious activity, okay?
Have I broken the law?
Sir, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Am I under arrest?
No, sir.
Am I free to go?
No, sir. Do you live here locally?
I don't answer any questions.
Okay.
Again, the standard for the government to temporarily detain a citizen is not whether some Karen or some cop thinks that he looks suspicious or is engaged in a suspicious activity. I mean, why? Because then we could have all sorts of unconstitutional racial profiling and other civil rights violations. There is a set standard, and that is the reasonable suspicion standard. There has to be some reasonable suspicion objectively that a crime has been committed and this individual may have committed it. Could it be reasonable suspicion to be scary looking if you are like one of the bad guys from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoons from the 80s? You have a mohawk and just chains on you. Is that illegal? Could that be reasonable suspicion because you just scare some lady to detain you to get your ID? No, of course not. There has to be, and there's a litany of case law describing what is reasonable suspicion and what is not.
Am I free to go?
No, but here's what you do. You got a knife right there in your pocket. I'm going to take it off you right now just for our safety, okay?
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You got any other weapons on you?
No, ma'am.
All right, I appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much.
It's not a weapon. Am I free to go?
No, sir.
Am I under arrest?
No, sir. You've already been advised of that.
Am I under arrest?
As far as coming here, you can talk to me.
Am I free to go? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest, Officer Denbow? Did I do anything illegal? Can you say that louder? I missed it. Did I do anything illegal? Am I free to go?
Making sure that you aren't doing anything.
So he hasn't done anything illegal, but he's filming cars, so they need to make sure that he hasn't done anything illegal. I mean, that cop is wearing a body cam right now. He's literally filming cars. He's engaging in the same activity that he's saying is suspicious. The fact is here's what the Constitution allows under these circumstances. The Constitution allows a consensual encounter. It allows for the police officers to walk up to this guy just like you or I could and start asking him questions. And if he wants to answer questions, it's consensual. He can answer. If he doesn't and he wants to leave, he can leave. But here, what did they do wrong? They didn't allow him to leave.
Am I free to go? Am I under arrest? Am I free to go, sir? Am I under arrest? Am I free to go, sir? Am I under arrest? Am I under arrest? Hi, Sergeant. Am I free to go? Am I under arrest?
So here's their supervisor, and you can see now like why these people are so poorly trained, because this guy clearly has no respect for the Constitution.
Am I being charged with a crime?
No, you're being detained pending an investigation as to
How long are you going to detain me?
figure out who you are.
She has my keys. Am I free to go?
No, so you're not. Like I said,
Am I
I'm
under
not going
arrest?
to answer the same questions over and over again. Okay? I answered your question.
Am I free to
I'll
go?
let you know when it's changed. Okay?
Am I free to go?
Can we talk to the third supervisor?
No one's talking to me, sir. Am I free to go?
No, you're not.
Am I under arrest?
I'm not answering your questions over and over again.
Am
Okay?
I under arrest?
You're going to deal. I answered your question.
Then I'm free to go?
Nope.
So I'm not under arrest and I'm not free to go?
That's correct. You're detained.
So any seizure under the Fourth Amendment has to be reasonable. The more serious the allegation, the more restrictive conduct by law enforcement could be considered by the courts to be reasonable. And likewise, the less serious the allegation, especially something like this, that's an allegation that's not even that a crime has been committed, the Constitution, if anything, is not going to allow very much conduct by law enforcement against the citizen. So here, where at best the courts could say, well, there are some cases that say a mixture of legal conduct but suspicious conduct under the circumstances could justify some sort of temporary detention. Now, I wouldn't apply that here, but just assuming that a court would. Okay, what's the reasonable suspicion? Here, the reasonable suspicion is this guy's in a parking lot taking pictures of cars. All right, assuming that qualified as reasonable suspicion, the Constitution is going to require that the officers only detain him for so long as it takes to clear up that reasonable suspicion. Okay, so how do they do that? Well, he didn't want to answer questions. He doesn't have to answer questions. He did give his ID. How are they going to find out whether or not this guy is committing crimes? even his ID, if they go run his ID to see if he has warrants or whatever, or where he's from, that doesn't determine whether or not he's committing a crime in that parking lot. They're not doing that. If they're making him wait in order to just make sure that this guy is not committing crimes, that's not the investigation that they're performing. They're just harassing him, holding him, going through the ID deal. And I don't think, even if there was a reasonable suspicion there because somebody called and said it was this guy doing whatever in the parking lot, I don't think the behavior by these cops in this circumstance is going to be found reasonable by the courts, because they're holding him for too long. They're not actually investigating whether or not he's committing crimes in the parking lot.
How long are you going to detain me?
Until we're done.
Well, that's not an acceptable answer.
When you're getting.
You're just going to hold me indefinitely? What's the charge? Am I breaking the law?
Vicious activity.
That's not against the law.
It is.
Would you like me to leave the property, sir?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Would you like me to leave the property, sir?
Cars, videotape cars, we don't know why.
Do you want me off your property, sir?
I do not like that.
Okay, I'll leave.
Do you want him to trespass from the property? You should leave. Yeah.
No, you can't charge trespassing
Yes,
without asking me to leave.
He could trespass you from the property.
I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to leave. He's asked me to leave, and I'll leave.
I'm going to give you a trespass warning, which means you can't come back to the property.
Okay,
So
fine.
as soon as we find that out, then you'll be free to go.
Sir, did you ask me to leave previously?
Sir,
Sir, did you ask me to leave previously?
He's not talking to you, bro.
Sir, did you ask me to leave previously?
Okay.
Am I
If
free
you
to
go
go?
back on the property, you need to be trespassing.
I understand that.
Okay, you're free to go.
Thank you.
Leave the property immediately.
So in the end, they finally allowed him to leave, but not before convincing the manager of Kroger, whoever that was, to issue a trespass notice so he couldn't come back on the property. And the fact here is that I don't believe it was even Kroger who had called them in the first place. It was a lady that was in some other place. It just happened to be the Kroger parking lot. The cops wanted to do something, so they solicit this trespass. And clearly the guy from Kroger doesn't even have all the facts, didn't know any facts himself. He just knows what the cops are telling him to do. And I would argue that it's coercive for law enforcement to encourage this guy to issue this trespass. I mean, what's he going to do? He wants to have a good relationship with them. He wants them to show up if he has a problem there at the store. So no crime was committed, but this guy was held illegally and harassed. This is how they treat people, and this is the extent of their respect for your constitutional rights. So thanks for watching. If you enjoy going through these sorts of things, please make sure to subscribe both here and on the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. If you have video footage that you want me to go through, please use the submission link in the description. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Callahan's.
I'm the hooper, the hyper, protect my hyper. When I get the hooper, you're better the cipher. Well, considering I got a whole case for free, legitimately free, it's awesome.
Oh, 2323. Welcome, man. See my email. Respond.
I am a true what? I am a true boo snake. I'm a true what? Mine are vanilla, pistachio, lemon, raspberry, chocolate, and salted caramel. What do you mean? Alrighty then. I got them for fucking free. Everybody knows when something's free, it tastes way better. Duh. All right. Good night. Try waking up with a better attitude, young lady. Lucky. Now I know. That explains why you've been so fruity lately. Okay, Tony Danza, I'm the boss. under the police.
His hand, boss. Didn't think you had it. In there. GG.
Well, I ain't like a damn king, but I was done with my shift.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, baby.
Grab some jerky.
New York strip, cubed potatoes, and a couple of eggs. Yummy. Raw fish on rice, okay?
All right, I'm back. Got some jerky and I got some water. Oh, I missed 2 messages. Oh yeah, 357. Hey, GG, boss. All right, maybe it's tricky. Yeah.
You and that goat, you got something about goats, man. I don't know what the fuck it is with you.
This big Maine Coon is losing his shit right now. I don't know, bro.
Legality of U.S. government's targeted killing program under domestic. What?
Did you go see this one article? He's Doesn't fall up. No problem. Sure. The little kitty.
James and Recycle both need to keep an eye on Lucky. That's 12:30 and already that boy ain't right. Lemon Bobby?
He's a carnivore. He wants his jerky. He got a little taste. He goes on and on and on.
Yeah, but I was the one saying it. I mean, Hank was the one saying it, and Hank is here with me, and it's 12:35 here.
Yeah, he's huge. Dude, he's wet in the elbow. He knows I have 3 more pieces of that shit here. What? Right. The dogs can't have it. What is it calling you? Can you hear him? What? You don't make a sound now.
Read into that. Mr. Hank, man.
Oh, your dog's happy again.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I'll have to read into that. Because I just looked at it.
He's a mountain lion.
That's pretty crazy.
What? You just gonna take it from me? Just gonna take it from me? No, that's all.
Tupac Shakur, Michael Jackson, Joan Rivers.
Mm-hmm. No.
And there it is, Tilted. Ding, 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 ding. What do we have for him, Sonny? Well, when it happens in the blue area, so they have leverage behind their
Yeah, big
push.
enough piece to get a little bit of the spice. Yeah.
And this was a good one for him because
Oh, sweet.
it was a teenager that did it.
Really? It was a
So he
long game,
wasn't
dude.
legally able to have.
Fuck. Seemed like it took forever. And the blinds weren't even that high when we finished. I wanted it to end too. Yeah. I was hoping to do another game today tonight too, but no way. Everybody that's here that isn't already there, please jump over to Trucking with Callahan. Good dude. Yeah, I crash. I gotta go to bed. I gotta do it after work tomorrow. That's why I'm not late.
Plus, they want to disarm
Game
us all
boss.
so we can be invaded.
Play my stuff on the way up. Oh, it's Candace. Oh, first this.
Only girls can be the mummies. Only boys can be the daddies. Yes, sir. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine.
Boy, I'm a girl.
You're transgender?
Yes.
No, Quinn has XY chromosomes like Jared and me, not XX like you. Science says he's male.
No, Quinn has gender dysphoria. Her assigned gender is not the one she identifies with. She's mismatched, Dr. Murphy.
But biologically...
Other than biologically, how do you know you're supposed to be a boy?
Your question doesn't make sense. I'm not supposed to be anything. I am a boy. Biologically, that's it.
Dude, you gotta quit calling her a he. We're never going to win this competition if you're disrespecting our patient. Don't they have transgender people in Wyoming?
Okay, transgender patient care was not part of my medical school curriculum. Was it part of yours?
No.
Quinn doesn't have appendicitis. He has testicular cancer.
She.
All right. I'll shut one up.
What's up, Subway? Get your air turned on today? Did you record him doing it? Did they record you? Did you tell them that you didn't give them permission to record you in your private dwelling?
What am I hearing?
Oh, they're asking for it. All right.
What the fuck is he talking about?
Get questions lined up. We're fucking exposed to the fuck out of them. I'm done with them.
Hold on here.
Head bitch in charge. Head motherfucker in charge.
Sounds cool as fuck. Three times out. No about.
But this is an actual female, so head bitch in charge. Well, something we care, man. I shouldn't speak for everybody. I can speak for myself. I care. Put it that way. Go to fuck the bed.
Ow. Easy with claws, dude.
May have to give her some time to think about it.
I'm gonna crash, guys. I do have to work tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. This is a great tournament.
No, we wouldn't do that.
I'm not gonna set up a whole.
Girl on camera, don't cry.
We may play one during the day tomorrow.
That's right. They only cry about what fits their agenda, Kilton.
No shit. All right. If you guys haven't already been there, go head over to the truck and down there. Noise, please.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet next to me.
I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
Coming out with a statement. You really changed, man, all your music and arrangement. You don't know shit, shut your mouth, you can save it. I'm the same dude that got his come up from the basement. 100 songs, 100 weeks, didn't change it. Experiments, development, intelligence, and patience. I'll do it all again, cause I never feel complacent. Let's keep the good vibes, positivity's contagious. I'm never looking back, cause I made a life that's passionate. A college graduate suppressing all his talents, yeah. He found a way to go and change, become an advocate. We're taking control of your life, go out and battle. And you think you have a dream, then act on it. Get after it, get out your head and fucking capture it. You got one life to master it. Don't give up on your future, we all start losers. We're all late bloomers, gotta struggle through the sewer.
What you say? Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build